Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Blue Thunder Pod, AEW Edition. I'm your host, Billy Sullivan, with me as always, my mom's favorite podcast host, and he certainly can afford a gym membership, Dave Olinovich.
I sure can, and I go. However, I don't have any streets named after me that I'm aware of.
No. I screwed that up. I knew immediately after the show because I called it Okada Boulevard. It was Rainmaker Boulevard, of course.
Oh, okay.
And it sounds funnier too when you call it Rainmaker Boulevard. And I was just that one little thing. You know how it gets. You listen back and you can't change it after it goes up.
Right.
I just thought about it all day.
Yeah. Well, MJF would have probably used that line more appropriately had he thought of it for Eddie Kingston. Or a number of not terribly in shape.
Yeah.
Adam Cole probably could have been.
Well, he already did the bobbleheaded noodle arm.
Yeah. But
I understand the Okada thing, but that's just because he's Japanese and they don't do steroids.
Yeah.
He's in incredible shape. He just doesn't do steroids.
He wouldn't be able to do what he does in the ring if he was not in shape or going to the gym that he clearly goes to.
He's 6'4", 240 pounds, and he's doing all kinds of athletic stuff. So
unless you have pack abs, you're not in shape.
Pack abs are steroids, genetics, or both steroids and genetics.
And what do they eat over there?
Geordies? Rocks, I think.
And they weigh, don't they count their weight in stone?
They do.
So ignorant.
They do. I have no idea what. The only reason I know that is because I've watched Tyson Fury fights that happen over there. And then they tell me that whoever he's facing, Deontay Wilder is 2 stone. And I'm like, no, he's not. He's 240 pounds.
Yeah.
Stop being
maybe
stupid.
That's 120 pounds. Maybe 1 stone is 120 pounds.
I just made the 2 stone thing up. I pulled that out of my ass.
But still, I don't know.
No idea.
No.
In what is there a guiding stone? Is there a Rosetta Stone for
the stone? Stone weight. A stone is 14 pounds.
It's still stupid.
So what if you weigh 20 pounds?
They do the and 1/4 and 1/16. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
As bad as we are with doing the feet and miles when metrics make every bit more sense. It's ridiculous that we still do that nonsense. Stone is the stupidest thing of all of them. It is.
So I just Googled obviously the stone conversion, and the first thing Google is suggesting that people also ask, why do British use stones for weight? So it's maybe not them, it's just British. And the first line says, originally any good-sized rock chosen as a local standard is how they weighed the town.
Oh, sounds pretty accurate. You get your BMI.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a bigger stone in the town over,
I weight differentials. Just a nice size. That could mean absolutely anything.
Any good-sized rock.
A good size rock could be this.
Yeah.
Or a good size rock could be the size of my bathroom.
Right.
Or it could be on what.
Or it could be Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, he's a very good size rock.
It's a great size rock.
We need Dwayne to like us on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's our my goal.
Why Dwayne? Is it somebody else following us on Twitter?
Oh, maybe. I'm going to be coy about that one.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But you guys will see because I'm going to post, I think, this entire episode video to YouTube, as well as the clips that we usually do in much higher quality than you're used to seeing. And speaking of what you're used to seeing, the pink robe is in honor of Darby Allin, but also because it looks like Tyler Durden, crossover kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it went well with my pink Blue Thunderbird and skull shorts.
You look like you are just starting a 2-week vacation.
Podcasting is a vacation for me, Dave.
Yeah, but this I have worn this outfit when it's you just do the Bruce Almighty. You come home from your last day of work and you just shed your clothes.
I would dress like
whatever you got. Kind of matches.
Ken in the Barbie movie when it becomes the man.
Haven't seen it.
Have you seen any clips though of when he when men take over and he wears what men really want to wear?
No.
It's like a sleeveless fur coat and a headband and
attracts.
It's awesome. It looked kind of like a wrestling gimmick.
Yeah.
Which
that's how men want to dress.
I mean, 100%. That's what you've seen me.
Yeah,
not just today.
Yeah. It's a big closet. You don't double up too much.
No, I make stuff for myself.
Yeah.
I'm that's all wrestling.
Right.
What'd you think of Dynamite this week, Dave?
I thought it was not their greatest. I thought there was some good stuff, but it felt predominantly like a filler show because there was a giant filler match, which a little upsetting to watch.
Sounds like we're gonna have an interesting podcast because, like, I mean, like my overall grade is probably not too far from yours. Sounds like you'd give it like a C.
Yeah,
and I probably give it a B minus.
Yeah,
but my B minus is because I liked almost everything that happened on the show. But one thing that happened on the show repeatedly made me want to stop watching wrestling like for the rest of my life because I was so irritated by it, and I don't understand it, and it was like happening nonstop, and it was ruining my good vibes from stuff that I liked I saw prior. But I don't think it was a bad. Like it was a good show. Forwarded stuff. It wasn't like amazing.
No.
But there was good stuff on it, and I in my opinion, most of the stuff on it was good. The bad was like awful. But the good stuff was pretty good. I kind of felt the same way both about Raw and Dynamite this week. I was like, they're not great, but I kind of enjoyed watching these shows.
Yeah. That's fair.
Which is fine. Like we're at the beginning of a pay-per-view cycle now.
And that's exactly why they're starting stuff up. They're creating new storylines. And also too, with AEW, like I know he had to be on the show. And I know you want to take advantage of the Big Bang Theory leading into Dynamite. And you got to put MJF at the top of the show. Yeah. But he just dilutes everything around him.
He annihilates everyone.
Everyone around him.
Before we started, I did mention like the one guy that I thought responded, and it was like, oh, that's awesome the way you did that was Swerve. Swerve, like, I think he got pissed off about what MJF said, and it made him focus. Because he didn't like stumble. No. He was acting the whole time with his eyes. Like it was one of Swerve's best promos. And like, I think it was just because he was pissed off. Like, because that was a good thing. Well, we'll get to it. Of course, it's an MJF promo. Like that. I forgot how much I missed that guy, man. As exciting as Will Ospreay has been for me, it's just, it hits different. MJF is like, has it everything.
Well, it's a Brett and Sean thing. Like in the very realist of like comparisons.
Yeah.
Just update.
I don't think anybody promo wise, not the technical side of it, of which he's perfect at, but like he finds the thing that's like gonna hurt your soul. Yeah. And he says it. It was. I thought it actually spoke well to the Billy Goat that he kind of had to generic it up because there wasn't much to say about him.
Nope.
That he could, at least without like getting in trouble.
Right.
If he had referenced his mental health stuff or whatever, that's not kosher.
No.
And actually that would be a positive too for Ospreay. But he was the only one that was like, I'm going to make an old joke that doesn't really apply anymore or whatever. The Swerve one though, it was like, oh man.
He said hurts. What we was all thinking.
We all say it. Well, like we've said it on the podcast, but we say it much nicer. We're like, it was a little wonky.
Because he breaks into people's houses and hangs out with their children.
Yeah.
If you want to meet Swerve, we can talk shit.
But that was like straight. That was a straight depancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Highlighting his weaknesses. Very nice. Dynamite this week was in Colorado. It's in Loveland, Colorado at the Blue Arena.
Yeah, so everybody was high.
Estimated tickets, according to WrestleTix, was 2,608.
Or Maniacs, too. I read that, too, and I'm like, this is louder than the last, 3
It did not sound like a light room.
And then I was like, let me check. And it was like a 5,000-seat place.
Yeah.
See?
Book it correctly.
If you put 200 people in my basement, it's going to sound loud as hell.
Yeah. So it was down the last time they ran. It said current 2024 quarter two Dynamite average versus 2023 quarter two average is 3,600 to 5,100. So it's down 30%.
Yeah.
Year over year, which again we were talking about last time. Product was not as hot,
and it does those. It takes like the product gets good for a long time before it. I would be surprised if like starting right now, it didn't start seeing the Dynamite ratings didn't start like at least incrementally going up.
Right.
Because MJF just is he
also basketball.
Like if you look at the finals,
murders.
It's gonna
wrestling.
be awesome finals too. But but like MJF before he got hurt, if like there were like I hourly breakdowns that you could look at and see that there were people that were watching MJF and literally nothing else on Dynamite. They would just tune in, watch MJF, and then turn it off. But those are like added ratings because that's people that are watching Dynamite for some amount of time.
Right.
So I think just having him there and obviously motivated, we're going to start seeing a little bit of the ascension from the good work that they've done this year. And then now they finally are getting, it's just like it's Hater and Hangman left and Kenny, but he's like, who knows? And Britt. Well, everybody keeps talking like Britt they're done booking her, but she's pretty adamant that she's got a pretty bad, like a back injury. And that's why she's out. I think Ricky Starks, did you see Tony Khan talking in the interview about Ricky Starks?
Yeah.
Which was like, I kind of want to release him from his contract is what his like eyes were saying.
He was been a big part of the 4 out of 5 years of
yes, what
AEW.
are your plans for him? He talked about what Ricky Starks had done for the last like 3
Ricky Starks
years.
is great. Ricky Starks is a huge part of this company. I have him over for dinner.
He said, I would love to have him as part of AEW again. Like, what? Isn't he under contract? He's like tweeting and he wants to be on TV and stuff. Like, what are you doing? Let him go if he wants to go. Like,
Cody will take him with open arms.
Oh, they're boys. And I think Ricky Starks would do very well in WWE. He's got that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think, by the way, I think Private Party should go to the Fed as well.
No, they're back. They're back.
I saw them.
They're back in the.
And when I saw them, I was like, "Oh, these guys should go to the Fed."
They would benefit from more established since they're like really tag team focused right now.
Yeah,
this would be a shining time for any established tag team to go into WWE.
On a Reddit thread, it was brought up who like during the Triple H era who has been had like disappointing booking because there's been very few, and then when I was running down the list in my head. It was all black guys. Like New Day has been relegated to like just repeat matches. Street Profits are not getting the push that everyone in us absolutely should be there, and they're nothing. Cedric Alexander and his the tag team that they made, and then essentially may as well have released immediately. It was like 3 or 4. Bobby Lashley was big hurt. Over guy. They don't even talk about him.
That's all.
Raggo.
That's all explainable. The Street. Yeah, I don't get the Street Profits because they are half of them is the greatest wrestler on the planet right now, Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah,
and the other one is
not too bad.
No, the other one is like an even better Montez Ford. I can't get that. We'll talk about them on WWE. We'll talk about all that on WWE because that's very interesting. Because AEW Dynamite. Really quickly, as my perennial AEW episode will say, on the official AEW website rankings, the current TBS champion is Jade Cargill, and it is not a post thing. I wrote the URL down.
I did it this week.
Yeah.
If you Google AEW rankings, the Jade Cargill one pops up.
Yeah.
And then if you scroll down a little bit, the actual one exists.
Nope. So but the AllEliteWrestling.com / AEW
everything
rankings.
about it is that old one.
Yeah.
I'm not defending it.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's pretty funny and it's ridiculous that they haven't
I see. Okay.
hired somebody to get rid of it. It's just sitting there.
They're 2 years
get rid of it. It's the first thing that comes up when you Google AEW rankings.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, even
the newer ones are old too, but they're old by a couple months or a month and a half or whatever.
The one that comes up is from 2020. This is it. 2022, August 31st, 2022. AEW rankings. There's no post. There's no date.
I know.
There's no nothing.
But if you go back to the Google search portion,
no, that's irrelevant. That's computer to computer. That's your cache.
That's true.
Yeah. So these are all 2022. April 2022.
Of course, because the URL is very clearly what you would use for your rankings. How did they not have
this is not
an intern to fix this?
This is an old photo of Adam Page. Nyla Rose is still champ. Chris Jericho is still champ. Actually, this has Kenny Omega and Adam Page as tag team champ.
That had to be early 22, right?
August 31st, 2022 is the last one.
It is inexcusable.
It's embarrassing.
And I've done it since you've been talking about it. I've periodically been Googling because that's how most people go find stuff.
Yeah.
I've just been Googling AEW rankings and it's that one that pops up every time. You can fiddle around to get to the real ones, but nobody's gonna do that. People are just gonna Google it and be like, what?
The real ones aren't on the website.
They are. You just have to get to them in an odd way. I actually had them pulled up next to each other.
It's humiliating.
It's ridiculous.
It's not on their main site either. Like
it's a different, weirder URL too.
But like it should be at the top. News, events, roster.
It should be the only rankings on the goddamn website.
Community.
More importantly,
AEW games, shop AEW. There's nothing in their header that says anything. And then if you search the page, there's nothing that says rankings. Nothing. Zero things. I don't know. I'm beating a dead horse here.
They've whitewashed it. At least they're still like being pretty consistent about like records and stuff.
Ish.
Yeah, that's always going to be ish.
Yeah, but it's a lot of tournaments and battle royals.
It's easier to book that than it is rankings.
I agree.
But I challenged them. I'm like, you can, if you try hard enough, you can do it. And they're failing at that. So like that's a little irritating because I really like the rankings.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of work, but fucking do the work.
Yeah,
like you're asking people to watch your show every week and make you billions of dollars. You're about to get this big giant media deal. Put in the effort or hire somebody.
Or don't mention something a year or two ago or after Punk gets fired and go, the rankings are back and make us feel like it's a big deal because
I remember I was going crazy. I'm like, that's not my favorite thing.
You and this fan base, like the diehards of this company, love the rankings.
Yeah.
I'm not I get your point. It's not for me, but like I get the excitement. I get how it's an easy way to tell a story. Even if you don't have a number one contender, you can bake in and legitimize people by bumping them up the rankings and make number one contenders like in a different fun way. And they have it. It's there. They own the fucking domain. Like just use it.
A high school intern can fix that in 10 seconds for them.
I could fix that in 10 seconds.
Yeah, of course you could. But the other thing, the reason I like the rankings is even simpler. It's the same reason I like tournaments in wrestling is because like I liked when I was a kid, I liked movies like Bloodsport where it was like the whole movie was just a big tournament, the guys fighting and then we're ranked and stuff. And it makes me think of that. Like I like that feeling, like watching tournaments where people are moving up and down, round robin tournaments or whatever. Like or seeing where they're seated to start because that happened in like every Jean-Claude Van Damme movie that I loved when I was 12. And it makes me feel that.
Happy Gilmore.
So I like rankings. Like, I don't need them to be even. They can lie. I'm a wrestling fan. Yep. I know you're lying to me most of the time. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with it. Yep. Like, do rankings that don't really make sense or whatever. Just do them.
Just be consistent with the lie.
Yeah. Yeah. You make your universe, so you make the rules. Just stick to your own rules. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe MJF will fix it because he does have a tendency to fix bullshit that's like going by the wayside. When he's at his best, like pretty much his entire career up until the last 2 months of 2023, like he would call out stuff on the show, like on Twitter, and then it would get fixed.
Look how fast he fixed Swerve's promo skills.
Yeah, yes.
MJF, if you're hearing this, please mention the rankings next week.
So, wonderful.
And they're just snap updated by the time we sit down next week. That'd be fucking funny, dude.
It would be amazing.
Oh, I can have him fix some other stuff, too. Speaking of MJF, he opened the show. It was a cold open with...
I love his new shit. Gear.
I like his jacket a lot.
I like the fact that the Burberry scarf is black and white now.
That's why I like it a lot, yeah.
The wolf with the Star of David on is pretty badass.
Yep. Homeboy knows how to present himself correctly. Huge MJF chance.
I was chanting it in my basement.
In your
by
room,
myself.
Nothing else.
Rocky was just looking at me. What the fuck is wrong with you?
No, he was speaking.
4 a.m.
He could probably talk at this point. He doesn't. The only words this dog could speak are the MJF.
He's just bored with... He could probably do like an entire argument whether hard-hitting, impactful, but kind of dangerous wrestling once a week is better or worse than like safer wrestling 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about that like 12 times. Yeah. So Rocky could probably like...
Put some reading glasses on him.
Yeah.
And maybe like a bow tie. And he's
a good mascot, though.
Yeah, he's terrific. So MJF starts the whole show... Crowds chanting, "He's our scumbag," which he is. And then MJF says, "For all the folks watching at home, if you're wondering why my eyes look a little bloodshot and squinty, just in case you didn't get the memo, we're in Colorado, baby."
They all joke about that in Colorado, always, like every time. Weed is legal everywhere. Every time I'm in a parking lot in anywhere store that I go, it's like the strongest weed smell I've ever smelled in my life.
They were like the first.
Yeah, they were. They were the pioneers.
Adopters, yeah. That was funny. Crowd loves it too.
Oh, anytime anybody does it,
huge
it pops.
pop, yeah.
Like whatever, like both shows too. Like any we'd mention.
And he says, and MJF is back, and he's rocking that brand spanking new MJF merch, available now at shopaew.com. Get yours today. I'm done shilling. He's not.
He's not done
but,
shilling.
That was funny. See, folks, I'm here to put everybody on notice. While I was out nursing my wounds, I'm sitting on my beautiful couch in my palatial estate in the most magical place in the world, Long Island, New York. UBS Forbidden Door, Long Island. Daddy's coming back home, probably going to wrestle some random guy from Mexico or Japan. Doesn't matter. Get your tickets today. Done shilling.
Every time MJ, I love the most magical place in the world thing. Every time he mentions it, I am reminded of when back like 25, 30 years ago, when my mom was a flight attendant. She would constantly complain about there was a small airport in White Plains, Long Island, and she never wanted to take the trip because she's like, everywhere I've been, nobody comes close to being as insufferable as the people from Long Island. Oh. They're worse than anywhere. Like, and so every time MJF says that, I think like it's great.
You should show your mom and get a reaction from her.
I showed her. Oh. I got her a portrait of MJF and like put it up at the foot of her bed.
What? Like while she was sleeping?
Because now her health has declined, so she's like she hospital bed in the living room. I mean, she still gets around stuff, but like I brought the picture and like picture frame and like put it under the TV, which is right at the foot of her bed.
I thought you put it like she's in bed and you're at the foot, and all she hears is meh. and his foot, he just levitates up. Oh man,
I do that to myself. I put him under the covers and I just go, meh. Oh, you got me again, Max.
So Max says, so I'm sitting at home, and I'm watching a bunch of children make a ton of bold claims on my show.
Here come the zero punches pulled.
Oh Jesus, he went. I mean, as he should have. First show back. Like this.
MJF.
We've been waiting forever.
He's MJF. Yeah. This is what he does.
Yeah. I got one guy walking around saying he's the Rainmaker. Make a lot of money. Hey, Chief, that's interesting because every time I look at his physique, it's pretty apparent to me that the guy can't even afford a gym membership.
That,
It's warm. It's getting
warm.
It's
because MJF is shredded, it works. And because those guys get a normal athlete body, and most wrestlers don't.
That's like if you're in like baseball and you're talking shit about home runs, and you're like, Mark McGwire's kind of bad. It's like he's very good at hitting home runs.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Well, my favorite one is that Tom Brady was technically obese for his entire career because he was like 6'3", 240.
Oh, I'm 5 pounds away from being overweight according to the BMI.
I think I'm obese.
Yeah,
I just ran a 10K. Can an obese person run a 10K?
Well, I mean, the fastest obese man I know. Clinically,
I'm not fast, but I can go for a long time.
I like the part that you got
just
offended
like my
by was we had to pause to see if you were fast, not obese.
Yeah, I mean it's very important. The Sullivan family has a long and storied history of being good at sports without being able to have any foot speed whatsoever.
Sure. just a whole bunch of first basemen.
My dad used to say about all three, my sisters and myself, with baseball and softball, that you run like you have a piano on your back.
Sure. Thanks for the pep talk, Dad. I said, but I had another bold claimer going around. As a matter of fact, what's the matter, big boy? You want attention?
It's the one episode that I'm trying to film the whole thing.
Oh, our
first time.
Come here.
He's gonna bark.
That's fine. Come here. Oh, he can't find me. Come here. Okay. But another bold claimer going around, as a matter of fact, he was swerving about, and he was claiming he was the leader of the Mogul Embassy. Hell of a leader, pal. Your entire group turned on you and whooped you, and that's not even the part that offended me, folks.
I did take a issue with that half of it because Swerve beat the shit out of his Mogul Embassy. Like he stone colded them.
MJF missed an episode or something. Hang on, Rock. I gotta talk.
He goes to Europe a lot. So probably he's on vacation or something.
You could stand on my knees. Said that part. Hell of a leader, pal. Your entire group turned on you and whooped you, but that's not the part that offended me, folks. The part that offended me, Swerve, was you referring to yourself as a business mogul. Interesting. Swerverino, Shano.
Shano.
Last time I checked, business moguls tend to go to business school, and if you did, I guess you must have skipped your public speaking course.
That made my stomach hurt. I was like, oh no, Swerve. I love Swerve.
He's not.
He's always been up and down in promos. That's why this hurts, because he's been up and down in promos. But it did the trick.
He cooked his ass a little bit. I said, but that, you want to talk?
Oh.
You want to talk? Kisses? Are they kisses?
What if he just starts talking about like Rollerball Rocco and how he's underrated and should be in the conversation for greatest wrestler of all time, despite a shortened career? Yeah, as Rocky started doing that.
Can you speak? You want to talk into the mic?
He's talking about like Cat Weasel, like a comedy wrestler from the 1970s, and like.
Just gonna put you down, okay?
Newcastle.
Good boy. I said that was not the most egregious claim, folks. The most egregious claim was from a Cockney cockhead.
I liked that.
Yeah, that made me laugh. Walking around saying, "Oi, I'm the best in the world, bruv." And then there's
I want to have a impression off with MJF for Will Ospreay.
Yeah. Well,
Will bloody Ospreay.
We'll see if he gets the rankings back next week. That way we know he listens and we got a better shot.
I did at him on one of the Twitter like clips that I put up. Like just whatever, shot in the dark. Well, you can MJF.
You could isolate this one.
I think we'll make you chuckle is what I said.
Yeah. Isolate this and tag him again and we'll see. And then the crowd starts chanting bruv, and he goes, "It's a great word." So that's really interesting, Willie, because the last time I checked, you ain't Chris Jericho, you ain't John Moxley, you ain't Cody Rhodes, you ain't Samoa Joe, you ain't Bryan Danielson, you ain't Kenny Omega, you ain't Adam Cole, you ain't Hiroshi Tanahashi. But you know who managed to beat every single one of the individuals on that list? It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, that's right. Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF.
Now, Ospreay has beaten most of those guys, but not all in AEW.
I mean, also, too, when he said that, I'm like, yeah, I get it, dude, but like, kind of a weird angle to take.
Yeah, yeah.
He just got there. You've been there 5 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
he had to say something.
Well, he's promoting what he has accomplished, because what he has accomplished
I get what he was
is
doing.
like unprecedented.
Yeah.
So that's the rundown was like, look at all that I have done.
Yeah.
How can you come in new and say you're the best when I've done this for 5 years?
I thought this was a little because this is pretty much what Ospreay did going into Wembley.
Yeah.
It was the exact same, like, who else has beaten Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, and whoever the hell else it was in the span of 3 months?
Okada.
In 2 months.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, okay, well, Ospreay, okay. I think I made my point. So still effective, but still. So next time you want to come on my show and lie through those disgusting, British, crooked, yellow-stained teeth of yours, watch your tone and check your mouth, because Silly Billy, you ain't the best in the world. Bruv, I
Silly
am.
Billy.
Yeah, that's going to stick, too.
I think his teeth are okay.
His teeth are fine. Yeah, he's fine. He's a very handsome man.
There was like a Simpsons joke from 1992.
Yeah, the big book of British smiles. Dental plan. I am the guy who did the impossible in 5 short years of national television exposure. I became the man, the face of AEW. Back to the list. I was waiting for him to say Punk, and he never did. I think
he mentioned Punk in the first.
In that list, you are not you are not like he didn't mention him on that list. I thought he was going to.
Because he mentioned him at the pay-per-view. He said CM Punk once. It was on one of the shows. He said CM Punk. Well, I think it was at the pay-per-view.
You're right. Now that you're saying it, but still in this list, like you're going to rattle off everybody you've beat. Because he did say Cody, so I'm like, not everything's off limits.
Cody's his boy.
Of course, Cody's his boy.
He's like everybody's boy.
Yeah. Apparently not AJ Styles' boy. We'll cover that. But
oh, really?
Did you watch SmackDown?
Not really. I was doing a lot of audio video stuff.
Oh, then I can't wait to tell you what happened on SmackDown.
Did they get in a fight about whether the Earth was flat?
There was. They got Cody started cutting the Austin 316 promo, and AJ Styles said, "You don't talk about my."
Oh, Jesus. You told me this.
That was 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is called classic misdirection. To keep going your toes.
Yeah.
But no, they did have there was a little bit of a spat.
A gay community.
If you have not listened to our Blue Thunder Pod WWE edition, it drops at the same time as this one. So go give it a listen. MJF goes on. I created some of the greatest matches, moments, memories, and interviews in the history of the sport. I became the most hated man walking this planet, only to become the most beloved. And that don't happen by accident, babe.
I beloved him from day one.
I'm also going to start calling people babe. I did like that.
I do the Dusty one because I do the Dusty thing so much that I've started calling people daddy. All right, daddy.
With that robe on, yeah. So imagine how I felt when I go home to heal my wounds after carrying this place and people had the audacity to try to smear my name. Revisionists trying to revise my history, revise my legacy, revise my name. And then very inexplicably, I should say unexpectedly, because it's very explicable, Rush's music hit.
Yeah, and they teased it earlier.
Awesome.
It's like the perfect first guy to fight. MJF's promo here made me think about it too, and like people do generally talk about, and they were just all wrong. That like, oh, his title run was a bad one, or it was no, he had its bad tail end of it because like they were booking like garbage for the last couple of months of 23, but like he had like my favorite AEW match against Danielson, the Iron Man. He had a bunch of like classics.
Right.
He defended the title on like every pay-per-view, and it was like a 4.5-star match every single time. Just because like the very tail end of it didn't go perfect, wrestling fans were like, it was a waste. No, I'm like, what are you talking about? This is probably the best championship run they've had.
This is why people need to not comment on message boards.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure, have an opinion, but also like, okay, who had a better one? Who had a better title reign than Matt? It's a dead ass question.
Nobody.
Like in AEW,
Nobody.
Who had a better title reign than
no one?
No one. It's the correct.
Like
answer.
I thought Hangman's was underrated too, but also not even close to MJF's.
No.
Kenny Omega had the best character stuff going on when he was like super heel.
When he was the belt collector.
Yeah. That was cool, but it still wasn't as good a run as MJF's. No. Like
the only reason MJF's is so tarnished is like you said, it's the tail end of 2023, and it's because they put him in how many multiple feuds at the same time?
And he was like,
they had no one else.
Vignettes nonstop. Yeah. They just put him on TV so much. There's nothing I could do.
No, it was like on The Simpsons. Since you just mentioned him, the show started out being Bart focused.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, oh, we love Homer.
Yeah.
And then like we had to cool off on him after a while because it was just like way too much. And then like that's why we have other characers on shows because one guy can't be the focus of a show.
And never change. Like John Moxley.
Yeah, John. Oh, can't wait to get to that.
Wheeler's back, Dave. Give it up.
I will not.
Wheeler!
Not for that. Not for that.
He had fun in the match too.
Yeah, it's good. I had fun making a sandwich while the match was going on. Rush's music hit.
I was downloading rings for WWE 2K24 while that match went on. Yeah. So yeah, me too.
I got some nice Munster.
Ooh, I love Munster.
Turkey, ham, and Munster.
Mayo?
Yeah.
Got it.
And like just of mustard.
Did you ever have Kewpie mayo?
What?
Kewpie mayo. It'll change your life.
Kewpie mayo?
Yeah, Kewpie mayo.
No.
It's made in Japan, but you
man.
can get it here. I was a Hellman's man my whole life.
Yeah.
Kewpie mayo will change your life. It's the greatest. It's a little more expensive. It comes in a smaller bottle, and it's the Japanese often use it in sushi, but it's mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And it's like the highest quality. It's like French, like homemade mayonnaise. It's amazing.
I'm gonna have to try that Kewpie mayo.
Yeah. Be warned though, it will ruin you on other mayonnaises.
Maybe I'm going to
the best shit.
I like to bring out the Hellmans. Bring out the best. Roosh came out.
He did.
Which is,
he didn't say horns like horns this time, though. I
didn't know he spoke English.
He spoke way better English than ever has before.
So that's a new thing. So Roosh comes out. He's at the top of the ramp. MJF's in the ring. He says, MJF, much like these stupid, filthy, ugly Americans, you never, ever shut up. And some guy in the crowd. It's true. He goes, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. And it picked up crystal.
It was perfect.
For as much AV issues as this company had, they really are miking the guys in the crowd that are crushing.
You know what it reminded me like of Heyday Simpsons bit, where the guy that was off would yell the line like the one-liner. That was like a regular thing. That's how clear it was. Yeah. It was just amazing. You're not wrong.
It made me laugh out loud.
Oh, I like rewound it a few times because it was beautiful.
Super funny. He goes on to say, listen to me, but listen well, perro, dog. When with you gone, I've been here working hard, wrestling, winning. And then he says something about mothers in Spanish.
For like 8 months. But.
Yeah, none of this track. Something in Spanish about. I just heard madres, so I'm like something about mothers.
He did just try to kill a guy in Collision a few weeks ago. The match I was talking about where he threw the chair in the ring to get the ref to scamper over there, and then just got the cables and tried to kill a guy.
I like to use the word scamper because now I think of the ref walking like he's an Atari character.
He kind of did. He's like, oh, I gotta get this before Rouge gets in here.
He's not bending his knees to walk or anything. So now you come back and you get a big celebration. Where's my celebration? Where's my big moment? Where's my big moment? Says it twice. I deserve your spot, so now I'm going to take it because when you mess with the bull,
look at the horns. You don't. There's no celebration, Roosh, because everyone is afraid to be anywhere near you.
Also, what did he win? He wins matches.
Baddest motherfucker award.
Yeah. Fight Haku, and then we'll talk.
He wins the award for losing the most matches, where he also does permanent damage to his opponents.
That is a trophy. That is a trophy.
It can be.
Can be. MJF says, "Okay, listen, Roosh, I didn't get any of that, but it's not your fault." Because Roosh is saying this with a very thick Spanish accent.
Well, I think MJF was taking a shot at the AEW audio because he said the production here was crap when Tony was here. It's even worse now.
Yeah. Did you have audio issues toward the end of the show? Was your audio bugging out?
No. What did you watch it on?
Hulu.
I did Fight.
So it was real spotty. I thought my shit was lagging.
Yeah.
And but I think the audio was just fucked on Hulu. But. More to the production.
Oh, by the way, word to the wise, they just started Raw. If you have YouTube TV, you can use mine if you want. When they put theirs up on demand, not the DVR one, they do the thing that you were hoping and thinking that Hulu was doing. It's like 205 or something, and all they cut is the commercials. It's wonderful.
I like that.
I watch it at 2 times speed, and it's great.
That's not bad. With the commercials, I can go to the bathroom. Make a sandwich.
I also get to bitch about them then when they do entrance commercial, which they did this week.
I can make another sandwich. Got some nice Munster.
Yeah.
Got turkey and ham.
Munster with mayo. Pastrami. I'm big on that. I actually use mayo on pastrami too with mustard. But
anyone in New Jersey would probably
beautiful
slap you
sandwich.
For saying that.
No, you when I was New York City, at least.
In New York City.
Several of the very famous delis we went to get my giant corned beef and pastrami sandwiches. Mayo was a thing. It existed. It wasn't the most popular thing, but it was like an okay thing. It wasn't like ketchup on hot dogs in Chicago.
Which I don't get that. I like ketchup on hot dogs, and I live in Chicago.
You know what? Nobody should get mad about anything like that because really shut the fuck weird, up. Yeah. People like stuff. I've
seen full-blown arguments over ketchup on
because
hot dog.
And I want to choke people when they do that. I put mayo on French fries too because after Pulp Fiction I tried it and it was awesome.
Well, that's the thing. Now you go to restaurants and they call it aioli.
Yeah,
they just put garlic seasoning on mayo and they charge you fucking $9 more for it. Anyway, MJF's in the ring. You know how I know we're both hungry? Both of us talking about food a bunch. Okay, listen, Roosh, I didn't get any of that, but it's not your fault. When Tony Khan, no offense, when that Mark was running this place, it was pretty rough, but now the Elite have taken over. It's gotten worse. I think Brandon Cutler's running the production truck. I don't know what's going on anymore, okay? I couldn't hear Roosh.
Yeah, so it was not a shout out to the accent. It was a shout out to fuck-ups on the show, which I liked it because it's MJF calling out stuff that hey, fix this, idiots.
I typed this all out, and I just as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, it's about that.
It's easy to miss stuff when you're typing
transcribing it. I'm like a courtroom stenographer. I couldn't hear Roosh. Could you guys hear Roosh? And the crowd says no. And MJF says, Roosh, could you run that by us all one more time? And he starts to talk, and MJF yells, "We don't give a shit."
Yeah, it's a play on Rock's thing, but it's a fun one. It's obviously an homage.
Sure,
it's not a ripoff. I don't think.
No, it was too on the nose to be a ripoff. It says, you come out here in your dime store suit making your bank account look real dry, dry, Roosh, like every woman you've ever slept with. Oh, you know what? Hold on.
At this point, I was like, Roosh is going to stab you, MJF.
He's picking the fight with the biggest guy at the bar. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I took it too far. I took it way too far. Hear me out. I'm not going to stand. I'm not going to stand and pretend I don't know you, brother. At one point, I paid you an exorbitant amount of money to take out Bryan Danielson. I know how talented you are. You come from wrestling royalty. Your father is a lucha libre legend. You granted some might call you a nepo baby for that. The crowd starts chanting nepo baby.
Yeah.
And
he said, hey, no, don't do that.
Swatted him down. Yeah, I did like that. He says, not me, but you proved that's not the case when you sold out arena after arena in Mexico. You proved you were an international superstar. You came to the U.S., and in record time, you became a Ring of Honor world champion. You stepped foot here in AEW, and you managed to bludgeon some of the best the sport has to offer. But here's the problem, Roosh. I ain't one of the best. I'm the best. But out of respect, love, and admiration for you, Roosh, I want to tell you how interrupting made me feel. But I want to make sure that nothing gets lost in translation. So here it goes. And MJF clears his throat. I think he said
Chingo tu madre is what he
mother,
said.
right?
Yeah. It's weird. It's a weird one because technically, literally, yes. But in the culture, I've heard that it people consider it to be go fuck yourself kind of a thing. Yeah. But it word for word is go fuck your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was just funny hearing MJF say "Chingo tu madre."
It was bleeped out hard when I saw his mouth move, and I'm like trying to figure out
the little bit that I could hear. And again, I watched it on Fight, so they may have bleeped less. But it sounds like MJF's accent was so good that I bet he speaks Spanish.
Yeah, well, he had a lot of time off, and his palate.
He's just a genius. He can do anything.
Right. It also is a very Healy move to talk shit about somebody in their native language.
Yeah.
It's a solid move. So he clears his throat. He says what he says in Spanish, and he says, and that his name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Friedman. And I'm better than you, and you know it. Roosh runs to the ring. They fight. There's a giant pull apart, and they keep fighting. This pull apart goes on for a while.
It's it is a believable fight.
Yeah, it went on for a minute. Security's
none of those soft paw things you see in a lot of wrestling pull aparts.
No, this looked like Roosh looked like especially just irate.
Roosh always looks like he's trying to kill whoever he's in the ring with. So
it's good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Don't do it, but it's good. Security's out there. The interim executive vice president Christopher Daniels is out there, looking all fly in his business clothes. So that was the opening segment for AEW Dynamite.
I loved it on so many levels.
Mm-hmm.
MJF's hinted at and for down the line set up 4 dream matches that we're going to get to now, because whenever MJF says a guy's name, they get to that feud eventually. Sure. So we're going to see that this year probably. Those guys, Swerve and Ospreay and Okada. And then we're starting with Roosh. Yeah, and start with Roosh, and then we kick it off with Roosh. You want to give MJF somebody that he's going to beat because he's your biggest guy, but Roosh is historically the guy that gives you the best match in a loss. Yeah. Because it looks like he's trying to kill you the whole time. So I was an inspired choice. And I love the Chingo tu madre.
Also, way to give a guy we don't usually see on the top a nice little rub on the top.
Yeah. He was even done on since he came back, he's been on Collision or whatever too. And I'm I miss Roosh. Yeah. He's a fun as hell wrestler to watch.
Yeah. I was thinking this too. Where the hell's Shane Taylor been?
It's been some weeks now. Yeah, we saw him several weeks in a row.
They were pushing him pretty hard for a second. Not pushing him, but
initially he was a Ring of Honor talent. I don't know if they were just using him temporarily. I hope not in AEW because I'm really
they factioned him up and everything. Yeah, I thought we were going to be seeing him for a minute.
I mean, again, we know he could be in the alternate universe every Friday.
Yeah. He's down there with Ken Griffey Jr.
Which is even weird. It's even weirder now because it's the alternate universe during the NBA playoffs, which is Rampage could be on a Tuesday morning or something.
It was not Ken Griffey Jr. I believe it was Steve Sachs that fell into the...
It was Lee Smith.
That fell into the black hole?
I think.
Lee Smith. Ozzie Smith?
Ozzie Smith.
That sounds about right.
It's Ozzie Smith.
Steve Sachs got all the furniture out of the house.
Yeah.
And then the lady had him
Sexy
arrange
boy.
him.
Yeah.
What else? Jose Canseco was a chicken.
Ken Griffey Jr. got gigantic.
Wow, there's part of my mouth. Everybody's
his head get bigger.
Some kind of tonic. Up next, we have a hype promo for Roderick Strong, or he is climbing stairs.
It's super serial. There's no more jokey Roddy left. I love it.
Yeah,
he seems like a killer.
Yeah, who is definitely not going to win tonight. So they were setting up the title. He has a world title match tonight with Swerve. Why does Roderick Strong get a title match?
Something happened on Collision, and I didn't watch it.
Great reason to book a world title match. It's great. Really need. This is when the rankings would be very fucking.
It would help.
Effective. Yeah.
It would help. I did. I mean, like I'm always here for a Roddy Swerve match, but I agree. Like a world title match out of nowhere. I don't know.
He just lost his international title.
Yeah.
He's automatically getting a world. Although that was the same argument.
I should watch Collision before I start saying that. Like maybe something did happen that made sense.
No, you shouldn't have to. And if something was important enough on Collision,
should have mentioned it on Dynamite.
Like this. Hey, what are we gonna do for the international championship? Oh, let's have a #1 contenders match for the international championship, and let's make sure that Jay Lethal is somehow the weakest part of it, and he's still pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
This is one of the most fun things I've watched in forever.
I love that.
I couldn't get over how it was Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Jay Lethal, and Ray Phoenix in an international title #1 contenders fatal 4-way. Went 9 minutes and 26 seconds.
I'm super happy with the win. Who got the win too? Like,
yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
I fucking loved it.
I think it was
so
probably the best match on the show.
Yeah. Orange Cassidy, by the way, since we're sticking to canon here, he is back in his regular clothes, and the background color of his shirt is back to white because he's no longer evil.
Stuck
Orange
with Pixies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
And I really like the Willow potential. Like, them.
Yep.
They were good.
That would be good crossover. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. So the match, I wrote just a couple spots on the match. At one point, Orange Cassidy tries a Stun Dog Millionaire, and it gets turned into an armbar by Kyle O'Reilly. By the way, Kyle O'Reilly,
most underrated wrestler on earth. He's the best counter wrestler I've ever seen. I've been saying it for years. I absolutely love him. I want them to break up the kingdom whenever Cole is healthy and just do Cole, Roddy, and Kyle O'Reilly again. Make them dominant.
Yeah.
I don't care if they did it before, like in another company or whatever. Just do that. They complement each other perfectly. You could do Roddy and Kyle as a tag team again or whatever. Just those three though. Yeah. No extra nonsense. Just those guys are unbelievable. Yeah. Kyle O'Reilly had, that match on Collision he had with Will Ospreay, like isn't an argument for the best match that was not Bryan Danielson with Will Ospreay that he's had in the company.
But it's on Collision, so
yeah. So nobody saw it.
Yeah, Stun Dog Millionaire turned into an armbar by Kyle O'Reilly. They have a tight shot on the armbar, and then Ray Phoenix comes out of fucking right field, lands a splash off screen to cover Kyle O'Reilly, and then behind them you see Jay Lethal drop an elbow on the back of Ray Phoenix's head to break it up. Camera work's important. Yeah, and this made it look like I don't know what the hell's going to happen next. Yeah, people falling from the sky.
That's one of the things I liked a lot about, and I bet they learned that in what I'm about to say and implemented here. But like those casino gauntlet matches, they did that a ton, where they would make sure that the Lucha Libre guy that's like about to do a top rope thing or about the springboard is just off camera, so you just see him flying in and dropping a whatever, like a 360 leg drop or something. It's like, oh my god, he just came from heaven.
Both companies do very cool shit with cameras now.
Yeah, like all of a sudden wrestling with shitty camera work everywhere forever. And then like the last year and a half, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's like
it really is. That's like, and we're not overstating it. It's just, it makes everything feel so different.
And they keep trying new stuff like every week.
Yeah, which I'm very fine with. Jay Lethal has Orange Cassidy in a figure 4. Kyle O'Reilly has Ray Phoenix in a standing guillotine. Jay Lethal recognizes that Ray Phoenix might tap before Orange Cassidy, so he lets the figure 4 go, and then he breaks up the other submission.
Yeah.
Love that. Like, that's a cool little thing I've never seen in a match before.
Yeah. So I know you didn't see the match I was talking about, but did you happen to see the way that Will Ospreay countered the standing guillotine?
No.
Oh my god, I don't even tell you. I'll find a GIF and I'll send it to you or something.
You know what? I record Collision every week.
Oh yeah, just go to the main event. It's a main event. That's all you gotta do. Go to the main event. He does it. Ospreay does another one of those things that like I don't understand like CGI. Mm-hmm. And that's the same match that I was talking about, the hands-free kip up that we were kind of going back and forth on. The reason it was so amazing is the hands-free kip up came as a counter to a leg sweep. Oh. So like O'Reilly swept his legs and he just kipped right back up without touching anything. It was magic.
It would have been better had he not smiled and revealed his ugly British yellow-stained crooked teeth, as MJF told us.
It would have been better if it would have been on a show that people watch.
Yeah. I'm good with that. However, I am very happy they're not overexposing certain people. On Dynamite, at least, I would be twice as annoyed if I turned on Collision and I saw all these guys I don't want to watch wrestle all the time. Keep them special. But since I don't watch those, in my mind, they're special.
For me, I think I realized it's different for different guys. Like Ospreay, I like him wrestling every week.
Yeah.
Swerve, I kind of like. At first, I was like, no, don't do that. But since they've been doing it lately, I'm enjoying all of those matches. And he's like doing innovation in everyone.
Right.
And I like that. But MJF, I want him only on pay-per-views.
Yeah. To wrestle, yeah.
Yeah. Talk all week.
Talk
but
every week, yeah.
I don't want him to wrestle, but twice a year maybe on TV.
Yeah.
Like at Winter is Coming or something.
I was thinking about this with Swerve, too, because I know you said you like that he's a fighting champion. I do as well. My only issue with these world title matches, or even like eliminator matches, the ending is never in question. And that, at
least the eliminator matches, there's
no.
But you can convince yourself for half a second on a really well executed near fall in an eliminator. If it's a title match against Roderick Strong, this is zero. It's the reason I had to take a quarter point off for the Christian match, because it's a 0% chance.
Never in doubt.
Eliminator, there's a 0.1% chance.
Yeah. I think it worked really well when Orange Cassidy would do the International Championship Open challenges every week, because that was plausible. And the more he did them, the more beat up he got, right? So it's like, hey, this is some pretty clever storytelling here, and he's somehow pulling a rabbit out of his ass every week.
I do feel like they're doing a similar and an opposite thing with Swerve. Instead of getting more beat up every week, he's getting more and more unhinged and violent every week. Every one of these matches has been more violent than the one prior to it.
Yeah. So, fine. Put him in tag matches, maybe? I don't know. It's just too... For me, it's like, I know what's going to happen at the end of every show now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most wrestling, we do our picks and it's fun and everything, but if we really were I'm going to put money on this, we would get 98% of the match.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The only stuff we would lose is WWE does a ton of schmozzy, whatever, nothing finishes.
Yeah.
And we would get those wrong.
Right.
But if there's a winner and a loser, you almost always know.
Right.
All I ask for is for that 1 second during the match for me to be like, oh, wait. That's all.
Yeah.
That's enough for me.
I'm just not loving it on the world champ. That's all. There was another spot where Jay Lethal tries. He goes to the Dragon Screw a lot in this match. He gets it once, which gets blocked.
He's got a good Dragon Screw.
He's got a great Dragon Screw. He tries a Dragon Screw on Kyle O'Reilly, and it gets flipped into an armbar.
Yeah, you don't try to do anything like that on Kyle O'Reilly.
It looked like there was a cell missing in the film. I don't know how his leg got where it did.
I think Kyle O'Reilly is actually a spider. And he just ties you into a web whenever you try to touch a limb of his.
It was so fucking fast and so cool, and that's why I'm like, it was around this time where I'm like, wow, Kyle O'Reilly is working better than everyone. He also looks better than everyone.
Since he cleaned up, he looks awesome.
Jacked.
He looks like he looks
super healthy.
He's doing CrossFit or something all of a sudden, and he's every strike is boom, and every counter is
super
perfect.
Clean and
nobody can do a move against him because he has a cool counter for everything.
Yeah, I love it. I loved him in this match. Very cool sequence here. So there's an orange punch to Kyle O'Reilly. After that, Jay Lethal grabs Orange Cassidy, throws him out. Ray Phoenix tries a rolling thunder kind of move where he jumps, but he eats a super kick from Jay Lethal, and then he gets Dragon Screwed. That's the one that worked.
Yeah.
By this point, Orange Cassidy has rolled back in the ring. He eats a lethal combination. So he's down. Ray Phoenix is now down. What's his face? Jay Lethal tries a double lethal injection on both Ray Phoenix and Kyle O'Reilly. Ray Phoenix kind of moves, and he only hits Kyle O'Reilly.
Thing, kind of.
What's that?
It kind of sounds like a double team and sex thing. Double lethal injection.
Double lethal injection. Yeah. You got to have a Chernobyl birth defect to pull that off. Ray Phoenix moves. He only hits Kyle O'Reilly, and then he rolls outside. So now it's Ray Phoenix in the ring, and he's faking a knee injury, which I love.
I dug it.
Jay Lethal goes for a figure four.
He did a weird stumble, too, and I was like, is that a botch? No, it was him selling a weird, a fake knee injury.
So Jay Lethal sees his knee's injured. He goes for a figure four, and Ray Phoenix rolls him up for the W. So
straight up small package, which you almost never see these days.
Yeah,
I love me a small package. Just for
where we
clarity's sake, the last note on this page.
Kyle O'Reilly is the most underrated wrestler in America. He is right there with every top in-ring guy in AEW. Yeah.
Great minds think alike, Dave, is all I'm saying.
I got to get a robe.
We're brilliant.
Got to get a robe. Next week, it's Will Ospreay versus Ray Phoenix for the international title, and I might make my mom watch.
Yeah, that is definitely one of those like the Vikingo Omega match where I'm going to be showing it to people that like don't.
This is going to be amazing.
Like, yeah.
And he's
holy shit.
Little dude, big dude,
holy
luchador
shit.
match.
Ray Phoenix, the luchador that is the guy that does all of his moves nobody else does because they can't.
Yeah.
And Will Ospreay is the guy that, like, British guy, all of his moves nobody else does because they can't. I can't, like, just the hook kick battle alone is worth the price of admission for this one.
It's going to be the best match of the year.
Danielson Ospreay is going to be
that
real hard.
I don't mean that sincerely.
Oh,
it's not going to be.
I think there's a chance it could.
I think your comparison to Vikingo and Kenny Omega is going to be the best. Like,
yeah, I think that's
this is going to be the most fun match to watch.
Yeah.
But like storytelling,
it'll be a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah,
which is good for them because that's what you want.
Absolutely. I also like that they recognize Ray Phoenix is currently healthy. Let's do something with him before he inevitably
get it
tries
in there.
to kill himself.
And got to get it in there. Get it in there with the guy with Ospreay. That's the one. You want that. Like,
shine this motherfucker up. So after the match is over, Don Callis and Trent come out in black suits. Trent gets in the ring and Callis slides a chair in. Orange Cassidy's on the outside of the ring. Everyone's cleared by now, so it's just Trent brought it in the ring. Orange Cassidy finds a chain from under the ring. Then he gets into the ring. And then out of nowhere, Chris Statlander gets in between them. And she kind of barks off Orange Cassidy.
She looks like such a fucking badass now.
Yeah, heel Chris Statlander looks like,
love it.
It's very good. She looks like a secondary villain in an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
Like, very strong and believable.
And her whole moveset now, like in retrospect, is like, oh, this is dominant heel stuff that she's been doing for forever.
Yeah.
She's just been nice.
I could get it. Let it go. Just let it go. That was the Last Crusade, I believe.
I gotta get that list up there.
Yeah. I got a deep. This is a Blockbuster Video employee brain.
Oh,
right
I mean,
here.
I get all your references too.
Good
so like,
too.
I'm there.
Yeah, I used to work at Blockbuster. That's in a high. How old are you
Wow,
guys?
what a difference. Blockbuster Video.
Wow, I got hired around the time they got rid of late fees. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
And then people were like, assuming they could just keep movies.
Go fuck yourself.
But
what you gonna do?
What they didn't tell you, because like when this is just fun. When Blockbuster or any video store would get a movie, they wouldn't pay like $20 for a movie like the rest of us. They would pay like $100 for the movie because it was a licensing thing, right? So when people kept a movie and then they would get their, because the credit card was tied to their account
for the amount,
and they're like, "Why is it $100?" Like, you kept the fucking movie. Like,
well,
there's no more late fees. I'm like, yeah, you can't fucking steal.
You're buying it now.
Yeah, you own it now. And that's the part that
you just keep our shit.
Can't imagine why Blockbuster went out of business. But so Chris Statlander is backing off Orange Cassidy. Stokely walks out and he says, "Chris Statlander's going to put her foot so far up your ass, you're going to be coughing up shoe leather. I wouldn't underestimate her." And then Chris Statlander punches Orange Cassidy in the ear.
Knocks him down with a right cross, like hard. She looks
punch.
like she's stronger than Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
So, like, man.
It was an uncomfortable punch.
It was
like, oh, you
like,
really fucking.
I mean, they're real life friends, so I'm sure it was one of those, hey, lay it in. It's okay. Let's make it look good. But she fucking popped him in the head. And she just looks like a monster. She looks like there's nobody in the division that could, like, touch her to me now.
Then there shouldn't be. If she worked the way she did as a face, God damn it, is she going to be tough as a heel? Like just in canon, you know?
I mean, I've never seen the woman have a bad match with anyone.
No, and now she gets to.
And it's all power moves now. Like,
100%. Willow's music hits after this, and she comes running to the ring. Statlander bails, and I just wrote excellent multi-level storytelling here because they dipped into several different storylines going on within one match, which I really liked.
Did they go right to the Willow backstage?
No, they went right to the parking lot where we saw Chris Jericho pulling up in a black SUV.
Okay, yeah. So this is the thing I was talking about. The fuck was he doing here?
It's heel heat.
It's a cartoon voice, though. Like I understood what he was doing the entire time, and with this story he's telling. Yeah. This one, it seemed like he was a special needs, or he got hit his head or something, and he's doing a big crazy cartoon voice thing, and it was like, to me, super irritating, and like it was making me enjoy the other stuff less because it was such nonsense. the only good thing from it was both Brian Keith and Big Bill were very good in their roles in this thing that he does throughout the entire show. But like every time he opened his mouth, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This doesn't fit the thing.
No,
like
his voice here, and I wrote he's talking like he's hard of hearing and he's over enunciating.
And he's talking to everybody's a 2-year-old too.
He's accidentally slipping into cult leader role here.
Yeah, it was more like that for sure.
And like the way Big Bill and Brian Keith were replying was it had very like Midsummer vibes.
Maybe that they're gonna pivot that way because more and more people are saying what I was saying. That's kind of a ripoff of the Young Bucks thing. So this is definitely away from that. So maybe that's what they're doing.
It's very.
There's just gonna be like sycophants for Jericho.
Yeah, but like brainwashed.
Yeah,
it's like and because Big Bill talking that way,
he sounds brainwashed.
I'm like, oh. This is a brainwashing angle. Again, Brian Keith has only been there 1 week, so and I don't know him well enough to know like what his old character was.
I didn't know he was funny until this episode.
Yeah, he has good comedic timing. So
but Big Bill like his character seems like he could be wearing the Mormon like door-to-door salesman thing. Like
I wouldn't be shocked if like they all start dressing like him to some degree or wearing Fozzy shirts or some shit. I really don't.
That's going a little far.
It's a cult thing.
No Fozzy shirts.
It's a cult thing.
Nobody should be forced to wear Fozzy shirts.
Because he was being like the smarmy, I'm responding to the internet. Oh, I'm on TV too much. I love being on TV too much.
It was all one character, though. Yeah. And then this episode happened, and I'm like, was he in a car accident? Did something happen? Has he like got low blood sugar this whole episode, or what's going on?
Yeah, it's very delusional, very kind of king of comedy delusion. He's
telling people how to put soup in a bowl. What is that supposed to mean?
But he's doing this whole character because even the most basic things he's teaching you.
Yeah, I know what he's thinking in his head.
Yeah.
It's a stupid thing to think and don't do it. This is what I'm saying.
Right, but he's getting people to follow him, which is why it's such that's why we're so irritated because of that point. Like, how do you not know how to do this? But the guys that are following him couldn't be happier to follow him. So
they don't recognize it as silly.
That's why it feels culty.
So it probably is culty.
Jericho gets out of the SUV. He's waving everybody, saying hi. We find out that he's waving hi and yelling to nobody, pretty much. Yeah. And even the guys.
That stuff seems crazy.
That's like cult
just
theory.
Totally crazy.
Just yelling into the middle distance. Chris Jericho says to the driver, and I'm not going to do the voice because he's kind of loud and it's irritating, and I just don't want to. He says, "Hey, listen, as the holder of a valid driver's license for over 35 years, remember, you're supposed to come to a full and complete stop at every sign. Don't forget that. Thanks, driver."
I appreciate you not doing the voice.
Yeah.
Because
it's a little bit.
It's too much.
Yeah.
You did it like you should do if you were on a show.
Yeah.
Not to like make people want to turn the TV off or volume down like I was doing.
Well, we don't need heel heat on the Blue Thunder Pod. We want people to stick in.
Exactly.
Stay tuned. Chris Jericho then goes to the cameraman, so it's now the first person. He's talking to the guy holding the camera, shooting him. He says, "What's your name again, Larry? Or is it Lonnie? Listen, either way, I've been meaning to talk to you. As a veteran of being in front of the camera for over 3 decades, I know something about being behind the camera, too. And your work is a little shaky, Lonnie." That made me laugh because he couldn't remember his name and he got the wrong one.
This was pretty Bucks, though. This was a pretty Bucks thing.
Oh, yeah, you're not wrong. Once you pointed it out, I got it completely. "Let me show you how to do it." So he gets behind the camera and he goes, "See, you want to keep it straight so Big Bill and the Bad Apple are in perfect frame." And they're not. Big Bill says, "Can you believe how beautiful it is, Chris? The sun is shining. I love the little things in life." And he's got a huge grin.
You're right. This is a cult.
Enthusiastic.
You're right. It's a cult. That's a cult thing to say.
It's very like lobotomy.
Yeah. It's going to be Jonestown. That's what it's going to be.
It feels like, because there's no reason you should be acting.
You know what? That'd be kind of cool then, because it is a different thing, and it's not what we were expecting.
Yeah,
and it could be a progress. Like it logically, you could progress the cult status from what he was doing, because that's how cults usually start.
Yeah,
as like just a regular church or just a regular school or whatever.
Oh, this is
learn
appealing.
From this guy,
cool.
And then like he gets deified, and then like because he's a megalomaniac, it turns into a cult. So. Yeah. Good call, and I really hope that's what's happening now. I would change the voice still because it's just too irritating. But
well, also too, when we were talking, where I thought it was going, where he was just like an old vet with PTSD. They didn't go that route either. So we're just booking better shit.
Yeah.
At least to us, Chris. If you're listening, please subscribe. We also have you'd be the second megastar that follows us on the Twitter.
That's why you don't want to do the voice. Any like mega super all time great wrestlers that that we do for a fact no listen at least one time to the show, we wouldn't want them to stop listening because of a silly voice.
Absolutely not. No. So Brian Keith then says, he's talking to the cameraman, he said, the disrespect. If you respected Chris Jericho, you wouldn't have a shaky-ass camera. You know what's weird here? My thing auto-corrected to if you respected Christ Jericho. What if he started calling himself Christ?
Are you going to join the cult?
No,
that would be good, Christ Jericho.
Christ Jericho?
If he hears this, there will be a Christ Jericho shirt on Shop AEW like by the end of the week.
That's pretty funny.
Brian Keith is doing the bad cop. Big Bill's doing the, like the thoughtful stuff. Like sometimes when somebody corrects you, really it's best to be introspective or like that kind of thing. And Brian Keith just keeps telling people, respect yourself. Yeah.
Again, that's what you do. You had heavy. Jonestown had heavies.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho says, he's kind of right, Larry. You know what, though? I think so now he says both of his names. You know what, though? I think you could use a little more practice. Why don't you follow us as we go inside? And they start walking in, and he gets behind. The cameraman gets behind the three of them, and Chris Jericho's waving and saying hey and thanks to the side of a building, pretty much. So he's delusional.
Crazy.
Right? So we'll see. I like what we've come up with here.
I mean, it has to be something because it's such a departure from everything that they were doing.
Even from last week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it has to be something, and that is something that would make sense.
Yeah.
Like it would fit the story.
Hasn't been a cult vibe angle in a long time.
I loved the Wyatt family. Like
the beginning of it.
All of NXT and a lot of the main roster, like the Danielson stuff or Daniel Bryan thing.
Yeah. Well, that's when
it's awesome.
That's about when it. And then
I generally don't like supernatural stuff in wrestling, but I do like spooky, creepy metal or like culty things. Yeah, those are cool.
At that point, he wasn't, I don't believe, supernatural. He was just backwoods bayou.
Had followers that happened to be 6'10"
and actually threatening.
Yeah.
Couldn't buy him a new tank top though. Luke Harper's dirty tank top always
his
made me
coffee stain that he had for
because he had to put that there somehow. So I'm like, what did you have to sit in that? Because it looks, I don't know.
I bet his wife did it for him. She seems super nice when she talks. I bet she put together his gear for him.
Yeah, just sitting there eating soup at home, just dripping it down. Oh,
maybe it was the beard. Maybe he actually did just spill on himself in catering every day.
Now we have the Willow. So backstage we have Renee and Willow Nightingale.
So is Willow hot now? Because I think she's hot now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what's up, girl?
I was like, wait, you're hot.
She looked fantastic.
Yeah.
So Renee says, haven't seen you since Double or Nothing. She said you lost your title. You were viciously attacked by your best friend. Where's your head at? And Willow says, I'll be the first to face the facts. I lost. Mercedes Moné is now the TBS champion, so congratulations are in order, Mercedes, today. But one day there is a score to settle because I know and she knows that I had her shoulders pinned to the mat for nearly like an 8 count. Only if it weren't for my friends. Mm-hmm. Oh, she's a good actor.
She's unbelievable. This promo was great, and even the stuff that seems initially like a stumble, it's an acting thing that she's doing.
I love that. Only if it weren't for my friends. Now Stokely, I wouldn't trust as far as I could throw him, and ironically, that ended up being a lot further than I would have anticipated. But Chris, Stat was my girl. I would have trusted her with my life, and she betrayed that. She betrayed my trust. And not only did she betray it, but at my lowest. And I always talk about this smile, right? I'm driven by this smile. This is my strength. But after being stabbed in the back, you don't know how dangerous that can be.
And she's continuing that thing that I was talking about before, where like believably badass at the end of the promo.
Absolutely.
That also made her a little bit hotter too, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what
the attitude,
new haircut,
the
maybe?
look. The hair was different. She had a different kind of makeup thing happening.
Yeah, she looked good.
Yeah, she did.
At this point, Orange Cassidy walks into the frame, gives her a fist bump, and walks off. So, breadcrumbing.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna need a mixed tag, probably.
Good. When's the last time we had a good mixed tag angle? Maurice and the Miz was involved. I know
Jesus
that.
Christ.
What?
You said good. That was
wait. Did we say
WrestleMania? That was like the most awkward and uncomfortable thing ever to happen following that match. Immediately,
it was not good.
This is the thing you wanted when Cena proposed.
When you
like a robot, not like I love you. Will you spend your? This is the thing that you wanted.
Yeah. That I'm ultimately not gonna.
I already, he probably heard me call him a midget. He tells everybody to suck his dick. That's what I'm saying.
We didn't say anything disparaging. It's what happened.
He's got a great sense of humor. He knows.
Yeah. He also, I believe, has a new wife. So, on the ramp next, we see Christopher Daniels, and he says, on June 30th at Forbidden Door, we will crown a new TNT champion in a ladder match. Now, last week I announced qualifying matches would be taking place for that match, and we're going to have another qualifying match right here, right now in Loveland, Colorado.
I give it, is that impromptu? Can I consider that impromptu? But no, that's a plan. They just didn't announce it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And that match, by the way, the ladder match is Oh, I'm sorry. He did say ladder match, but TNT championship match will be a ladder match.
Yeah.
Okay.
I prefer a tournament, but
that's fine. It's kind of tournament, kind of small tournament, one-round tournament.
Like, WWE does ladder matches better. They just do. They have it perfected. That's the one thing that even when I didn't like watching their show, that was the one thing that was always good, especially if Kevin Owens was there. And AEW just doesn't. It's not as good. It's like the only kind of match that they do worse. Yeah. So I'd rather they do one of their other gimmick things for the title.
I see what you're saying. So this was a qualifier match. Jay Briscoe versus Brian Cage went 10 minutes, 16 seconds.
Is Tony Khan ever going to see that? You said Jay Briscoe, Mark Briscoe. Jay,
no, it's
God
Jay,
rest his soul.
It's Jay. You're right. Bad joke. I did write Jay.
Jay Drilla.
My bad.
No, I've done that too on this show. Is Tony Khan ever going to recognize that Mark Briscoe is literally a fucking 5-tool player and he's like MJF but a babyface?
No.
Everybody loves him. The crowd adores him.
Yeah.
He knows exactly how to behave as a babyface, innately, like I've rarely seen in my life. He can go very exciting matches. He's also very dangerous seeming in the ring because he's very violent.
Yeah.
He's excellent. He's one of the best promos on earth.
Yep.
And he's been Ring of Honor and multi-mans. What the fuck? I know he won here. I hope it leads to him winning a belt or whatever. But he should be near the top of the card. There's one guy that does the everything thing better than him, and it's MJF.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
I agree with keep pushing Eddie Kingston, and
this is
this guy's a better talker than Eddie Kingston.
I wasn't a Ring of Honor guy. I met Mark Briscoe in AEW.
Yeah,
I knew of him. I still haven't seen the dog collar match.
That was the only modern one that I watched back when Nigel McGuinness was wrestling Bryan Danielson. Oh, I got something I think is going to happen by the way with that later on, but. I saw Punk way back in the day, but then I didn't watch it for decades.
Right.
But then I heard about the dog collar match, so I got that show and I watched it. And it was amazing. That was my kind of introduction to the Briscoes.
So we're relatively new, roughly but like me, I just met him on AEW. Love him. And I just fucking met him after his brother died.
He is an incredible talker.
I want him on TV all the time.
I want him to win titles and be in main events.
Well, here's the shit of it.
Why is he not?
He does win titles, but not the ones we want.
No, not stupid other company titles.
But my point is
I want him wrestling Takeshita or whatever, in secondary main events.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He's as good a wrestler as anybody.
Yeah.
He does that rolling senton from the apron to the floor every match, by the way.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to have spinal surgery in a few years, but it's a Mick Foley bump he's doing, and he does it every time he wrestles.
Right. Also, too, in between stuff, on fucking point.
One of my favorite elbow drops of all time,
Froggy
too.
Bow.
The Froggy Bow is amazing.
So speaking of Takeshita, so far in the TNT ladder match, Takeshita has qualified.
Yeah.
I got to assume Jack Perry's in there by default.
He was talking like he was on the show.
This is a question I had. So why did Christopher Daniels' decision to overrule the Bucks' decision last week when they appointed Jack Perry as the champ stand? How come Christopher Daniels has more power than the Bucks?
Because, I'm not saying that I agree or it should be, but I could tell you the answer.
His role is on
mouthpiece
TV,
for Tony Khan.
But his role on the show is interim executive vice president.
Yeah. But he also, in the same breath, said, I am the mouthpiece for Tony Khan. Anything you hear me say is coming from Tony Khan.
Okay.
I don't think it's a very well told thing. I don't like the stooge thing in wrestling, and that's kind of what this is feeling like. But if you're going to be Tony Khan's mouthpiece, you need to make that clear and don't do the EVP thing. Don't you're filling in for Kenny Omega. Just be like, Tony hired me to be his courier of his words. Just tell you what he's thinking, what he wants to say.
I think what might have been a better idea is Tony Khan sells an injury as a unathletic human for way longer than everybody else would have to.
Yeah.
He's off TV for a minimum 3 months, and let the Bucks just have a heel authority figure run. Leave Christopher Daniels off TV. Don't have this dueling thing.
Yeah.
If you're going to have another guy, you already had it with Kenny Omega. Like, let the guys we know tell the stories. Don't add more elements to what could be.
And then it gives a bunch of good guys something to try to...
Yes.
I don't think I like the Christopher Daniels thing.
No. It's
I thought
confusing.
of where MJF's return should have happened. Remember at the end of the pay-per-view, I was like, oh, you know what was weird about this show? AEW almost never sends people unhappy. They almost never have the heels win the last match of the show.
Yeah.
So that's why you should have put MJF. Like Cole could have come out then and been like, I've been sitting back there seething about our match, and that's all you would have to do.
Yeah.
And then close it with MJF, and everybody goes home happy.
You don't think? So you think people would bitch because he came back at the end of a pay-per-view before?
No, I don't. I think people would be fucking super ecstatic because as the pay-per-view's winding down, you start to get that feeling, oh, there's nothing going to happen. And then
I agree.
fucking MJF happens.
I'm just throwing out bullshit.
Yeah, no, like, that's a valid question.
But what you said would have been great.
That would have been amazing.
Because Cole, their little group lost the title that night to open the show.
Yeah.
So you close the show after hours of sitting there just being, also too, pepper in. Like, you can telegraph this, like, show them in the back being mad.
Yeah. Sure.
And then
it just makes more sense, too, that he'd be seething for a while before he was like, you know what? I got to go out there and fucking talk to these people because I can't think about this shit anymore.
Yeah.
He did it immediately, which, like, he wouldn't have been that mad right away. So, like, even story-wise, it would have been better. That was a very strange thing. It was still, like, MJF's thing was still, 5 stars.
I'm on AEW's website. Is there a place to submit your resume to write for the No, there's not. Sorry, pal. You can't submit your good stories to this company yet.
Well, he should buy NJPW, let Danielson write the shows. I think he wants to. I think he's going to eventually. Yeah. Just do that.
Yeah.
He's smarter than you are, Tony.
Yeah. So the match, I wrote the ending was never in question. And then we have Jack Perry in the back watching, and we have Takeshita and Don Callis sitting in the crowd watching. The match was just a fucking really good match.
Yeah, yeah.
Both of these guys worked really well. Nothing like, there were no like noteworthy spots.
No, nothing crazy.
They did what they should have done. They both got all their shit in. They both sold each other really well for each other. The finish had.
Did you hear Excalibur say that Brian Cage has a lot of shit?
No.
Like he called the move. I think he called it the claw hammer or whatever, and it was a slightly different thing. So Taz was like, "Oh, I think it's the." He's like, "Yeah, he's got a lot of shit."
It's true.
He's like
also good
like
for
a creator wrestler.
Yeah.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah. The fact that Excalibur had to say that,
yeah,
like he's the encyclopedia of how to pronounce everything correctly. So the finish had Mark Briscoe hit a Claymore on Brian Cage, and then a DV Death Valley Driver, and then Froggy Bow for the W.
I like his Claymore too. It's like it's a very different move than Drew's because Drew's is a big giant monster. His is more of like he builds up. He's way faster. By the way, also than he should be. Yeah. He builds up speed and stuff, and it looks cool. It's a different thing, and I love that elbow. It's just awesome.
Froggy Bow.
Yeah, the Froggy Bow rules.
Yeah.
The Jay Drilla fucking rules
also
too, but he
rules.
only pulls that out every once in a while because it's in honor.
Absolutely.
Jay was a great wrestler.
Yeah,
I don't think he was as well rounded as Mark is, but in the ring, holy Christ.
Yeah, I admittedly have never seen a match.
I went back and watched a bunch after,
I gotta go.
And it's like.
Well, maybe if they get that HBO Max deal and they'll put the Ring of Honor library on there, I can enjoy this guy's career.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. After the match, Mark Briscoe's standing, holding the Ring of Honor World Title, and I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah.
I had to go.
Wait, you don't have Honor Club right now?
Not at the moment. No. I have chess.com. I pay for chess.com every month. I'd get more fun out of that than a Ring of Honor Club subscription.
Yeah. Like Ring of Honor is actively making the thing that I love less good. Yeah. So.
I play a lot of
chess would make me happy.
I play a lot of the Italian game. I got to get away from that.
What's the Italian game?
Italian game is
you get shot in the head while you're eating spaghetti.
When I'm getting a massage and I lift my head up and put my glasses on, and then think that doesn't look like blood comes out of my eyeballs. Yeah, Godfather.
How's the food at this Italian restaurant? You Polak cop.
Jack Perry. So Jack Perry's in the back watching TV, and he can.
Jack Perry's body snatched doppelganger. I still don't think it's Jack Perry because again he talked like fluidly and didn't stumble over his words.
Yeah. And I didn't write down everything he said. I didn't think I would have to, and I was
wasn't
wrong.
much. It was just a couple lines.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't write it down. But he basically said he congratulates Mark Briscoe from the back, and he says he can't be stopped and will be the next TNT champion. That was the gist of it.
Yeah.
I didn't write. I'm like, he didn't say much.
He sold it. I believed him. Like, but it was just a little short thing.
Yeah.
But it's better than his old promos.
Yeah, his vibe had like sour grapes. I think he said something like Tony Khan's always trying to like keep me back or something.
Yeah, he definitely was like I was named.
Yeah.
Like, you're fucking me here.
You think he's winning, right? He has to win?
I want Mark Briscoe to win so bad.
Takeshita.
I honestly, I guess I'm pulling for Takeshita because he needs wins.
He's rehabbing
Briscoe at least
badly.
wins matches.
Yeah. Also, too.
How about a Takeshita Briscoe odd couple tag team down the line? Can make for some pretty goddamn interesting moves.
So you can feud the Callis family with whatever Jeff Jarrett's group is called.
Yeah, Team TNA.
Mark Briscoe's a part of that too.
Yeah,
he's got like they're boys.
Ancillary. He's like
they have mutual respect.
Don't include me now.
Yeah. Backstage we had Renee with Hook and Samoa Joe. She asks if Joe is Hook's new mentor. Joe says he wouldn't exactly call it a mentorship.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It is the very definition of that.
Tony Neeson, I don't know who the fuck else these guys were.
Tony Neeson, they bring him out like once every 2.5 years to like talk shit and then lose.
That's all I wrote.
I forget he's not on the roster at all.
Who are the other guys?
I don't know who's behind him or whatever.
There were two other guys.
Probably Ring of Honor people or something that happened on Rampage.
I don't know.
Tony Neeson's like, they can let.
He had a good body.
Trim
that's it.
He's got a great body. Yeah, and again, that's it.
Fine.
That's what he has.
Just 3 guys I go see at the gym every day that have been as good a shape as him.
Big Bill's got a great body too, but he kicks ass as well.
Yeah, Tony Nese can go. But anyway, so they just talk a bunch of shit. They're
and
probably,
his tiny knees.
Yeah, they're probably setting up a match. Did you say Big Bill has tiny knees?
No, Tony Nese and his tiny knees.
Oh, that's kind of fun. I thought I was having a visual of Big Bill just having adorable small patellas.
What if he has tiny toes? Like big, giant, like size 15 boot.
Like the
but
meat
his
of
toes, his toes are like little baby toes.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty funny.
If he fell down more, I'd believe you because he seems like he's got big toes.
Yeah, he does. He seems like he's got like NBA type feet. You ever seen an NBA player's like a veteran NBA player's foot? By the way,
actually,
the grossest fucking thing
it's
ever.
Not a good look. Just destroyed.
Guys at home, Google NBA player's foot. Google LeBron James' foot if you want to not sleep for 3 or 4 days.
Hook tries to attack Tony Neeson, whoever the fuck the other guys are, twice, but Samoa Joe holds him back and says they'll handle it on their own time. Miss Samoa Joe. By the way, a lot of
very clearly mentoring here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He wouldn't exactly call it mentoring, but he's giving him advice in the moment.
Yeah, I'm like,
backstage, we have more of the learning tree walking, and then they run into Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ange. Chris Jericho says, "Hey, guys, 2 of my favorite branches here." I like that line.
The branches?
That was clever.
He had some good lines. Like, at the end of this one, too, I thought there were 2 good lines.
Yeah.
The one that Jericho says is, I hated the delivery because of the talking, but I liked it. I was 8-time champion, 3-time father.
Yeah.
That was funny. And then the way it ended was my favorite thing of this whole thing.
I hope I got it right then. Jericho says, "Hey, guys, 2 of my favorite branches here. And I just want to say congratulations after you spent so much time with the learning tree. Now your careers and personal lives are bigger and better than ever. Daddy Magic taking over as the lead commentator on Rampage, doing a good job, but don't forget, keep your face up and enunciate." And Daddy Magic goes, "Enunciate?" And Big Bill goes, "Enunciate." And then Daddy Magic looks at him and goes, "Why don't you shove it up your ass?" Jericho goes, "Ha ha, good one." And Big Bill's got me.
Yeah.
I'm
cult.
Like,
you're right.
What the fuck
cult.
is that?
It's cult.
That is people who can't read. That's sociopathic behavior.
Stuff.
I hope.
You got me,
dude. I hope we're right.
It's you get credit. It's not.
I don't need.
I think
this gets credit.
Yeah. Okay. But like, that is a great booking idea. If it's not what they're doing, they should do it.
Yeah. I hope so. And Jericho says, "And Cool Hand Ange, beautiful new bride with a baby on the way. I'm an 8-time champion and a 3-time parent, so I got some advice for you." Nice. When the baby gets fussy, just remember, easy. Give him something to eat, then an activity, then sleep, then you. It's easy.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing? I had a
Makes
baby.
sense.
I don't remember hearing any shit like that. Maybe he is going to write a baby book
you
now.
You must have raised your daughter hard.
I was like, shoot a jump shot. Play video games with me.
That's a lot of sentences to make out of letters. He said, it's easy. If you do that, the baby will always be happy. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Lonnie. And then Brian Keith goes, you make sure that baby respects Chris Jericho.
As they walk away, he yells in his face, you best make sure that baby respects Chris Jericho. and I laughed aloud.
I saw this particular clip before I saw the show.
Oh,
that little clip went viral on all social media.
It's very funny.
It was funny. Make sure that baby respects Chris Jericho.
Best make sure that baby respects Chris Jericho.
What an odd thing to say.
Also, she's like 2 months pregnant?
Right?
Yeah.
It's not even a fully formed fetus quite yet. Can you a fully formed fetus? Yeah, that's a sentence, right?
Yeah, I think, and it is a fully formed fetus, but that's it. It's like the thing that looks like a gerbil or whatever.
Sure. The Acclaim I liked this. I was kind of asking for this on the pay-per-view to a degree. The Acclaim come out, they start doing their rap, and
even before the pay-per-view, you were calling for the Bucks
throw their dick
throwing their weight around a little bit,
but at the pay-per-view, I'm like, could you have just cut some segments?
Yeah.
They thanks for listening to the podcast, Bucks. Did it here. Max Caster starts doing his rap, looking like 1980s 2000s Michael Jackson, according to Ebony Magazine.
2000s future Michael Jackson.
Yeah, with his 1980s suit on though.
Sounded like he was going in pretty hard on the Bucks rap too, before it was.
So the Bucks get mentioned in Max Caster's rap, and then the Bucks appear on the screen. And they cut the Max Caster's mic, again, as they were mentioned in the rap. And Matt Jackson says, apparently in the... Oh, wait. What does Nick Jackson just go? Yo.
Yeah.
Yo.
Listen.
Yeah. He's just kind of mocking them very slowly. And
listen.
Yeah. Matt Jackson says, apparently in the AEW handbook, it says not to disparage your EVP. So we won't see or hear the Acclaim tonight. Their segment has been cut.
The Bucks throughout this episode, I like their work. It felt like I was playing a video game and they were the bad guy that's been tormenting me the whole time.
Yeah, I like
and they
that.
keep popping in to get in your face until you finally face them at the end of the game. Like that. That's kind of what it felt like they were doing here.
Yeah,
they didn't have a lot of physical action, but they were inserting themselves and popping up on screens and stuff. Like that was cool. A little different than what they were doing, and. I mean, same thing, but with a little different delivery. You got to vary stuff.
Yeah.
That was good.
I dug it. This I really liked, mostly because, like I mentioned on the pay-per-view, I was calling for exactly this, and it's just like, oh, it just fucking fell in my lap.
I did say anyone who cuts Max Caster's mustache from television programming should be sentenced to death.
I agree. It's like a whole new character.
I think he's doing better and is more motivated since he has the mustache. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
He was being kind of a weird prick, grew the mustache, and now I'm enjoying the hell out of him again.
We discussed the power of the mustache. Man, Hangman Adam Page is on my good side because of that fucking mustache.
You know how bad I wish I could grow a Dutch Mantel? It's the hardest thing to do. I don't know why it stops growing, but no, it's like 1 in a billion people can do your mustache will just grow indefinitely. I want to have a mustache like Sam Elliott or Dutch Mantel because it would be badass.
Just stop cutting the sides.
Oh no, I've tried to. I can get this. This goes way down. I'm talking about where the whole thing is like Sam. Take it, old dude taking her easy for all us sinners. That dude, and then Dutch Mantel, where it's like the mustache hairs are like this long, all of them.
See, I don't trim I just cut it with here.
I do scissors.
I want the cop mustache.
Yeah.
But for a while, I was just using the beard trimmer to make it all kind of uniform. I find that if I just cut it above the lip, it fills out a little.
I formed the mustache too.
Yeah. I don't want, because then I got to buy, I'm happy that you would like to do it. I don't want to have to buy wax for my mustache because then, what if I have corn? And then, what is the corn?
Dutch Mantel is not a wax mustache guy. Dutch Mantel is like a.
He eats maize.
Looks like he's from 1843.
Why he eats maize?
It would be like.
It wasn't even called corn yet.
Panning for gold or something. Yeah. That's the kind of mustache he has.
Oh, just grease.
It's like Yosemite Sam.
It stays up with.
But he's like a brilliant guy. Have you watched his stuff? It's really weird because he looks and talks with that accent, and you're thinking he's going to say some like cornet or Disco Inferno type shit.
Robert E.
But
Lee.
he's got like a bunch of really thoughtful things about television, wrestling, and the world.
I've seen enough things pop up about him on other sites where I'm like, I think I'm good with Dutch Mantel.
I'm a fan.
Oh, I was saying the opposite. I think like maybe I got to just listen for myself, but he's been reported on maybe incorrectly.
Yeah, no, like when I've actually watched his show, it's like it's everything he talks about. He thinks before he talks, and then he doesn't have hot takes. He thinks about it intelligently. He's not trying to like rile people up. He's giving correct answers, and like he's a really smart guy.
Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah,
that was funny. Backstage, we have Renee. She's with the champ.
Who was Umaga's manager that Vince took off the air because he was getting over?
Armando Estrada.
Yes. Yeah.
Umaga.
People were like liking him, so Vince was like, "Fuck that, take him off."
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't do very nice things for a lot of people for a long time. Don't miss him at all. Can you imagine being in Titan Towers and looking over and he's there working out, doing like chest flies in your gym?
No. I can't imagine being in a room with him. It'd be like being in a room with a crocodile or something.
Yeah.
It'd be like just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But even before we knew the specifics of what he did, like he was just remember like that Bob Costas interview? That was like the most uncomfortable thing I've ever seen.
I just watched it 2 days ago.
It's awful.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched some of it, but
it's like you could write a psychology book on what's happening there, but it's just awful.
It's Bob Costas' most famous interview.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Backstage, we have Renee and Swerve. Oh, man. Renee just talking about how the title's on the line tonight versus Roddy. So I did write this word for word. Swerve says, "First of all, welcome back, MJF, you little bitch, man. Finally, you show up to work. You mention my name."
He says that, but he does that in a Swerve way. He's like, "Welcome back, little bitch." He like says it in a weird, funnier way. Yeah. Like when the Bucks came around the corner and he was like, "What's up, turds?" It was one of those.
Finally, you show up to work. You mention my name. I'm going to deal with you, not in a way you're going to like. Secondly, right here, I got the contract for the main event of the Forbidden Door. Signed, sealed, delivered. Oh, yeah, baby.
Here I am.
Can people just say signed without sealing and delivering something? It's like when they mention blood, do they have to mention sweat and tears every time?
Yeah.
It's just like, what's another one? There's another phrase where it'll come to me, but no one is, can you find another reason to use the word dollop if it's not sour cream?
No. It's only sour cream.
It's only for
I'm
sour
sure
cream.
I could technically use a dollop of mayonnaise, but I'd never call it that in my life.
I wouldn't call you it then either. But he says, signed, sealed, and delivered by yours truly. I'm going to need you to send that to Mr. Will Ospreay in the United Kingdom right on his front doorstep. I'll cover shipping. And then this is the part I did not write word for word, but Swerve says he's the mountain of pro wrestling. He's not going to... He's talking to Roderick Strong now. It says Roddy's not going to knock him off it, and Swerve's going to bury him under it. The EVPs have been on his mind since they won at Double or Nothing, and he was rooting for Team AEW. And AEW assembled a great team, but next time don't forget to put the AEW World Champ on the team.
Yeah,
I like that he has
good point.
Sour grapes about that.
He's a thinking man's wrestler. He thinks about this stuff.
So did he mention anything about it prior to the pay-per-view?
No, but why would he have to? Like, he was the champ. You should have done that.
That's fair. That's a good point.
He, by the way, Swerve always has like the kind of stern, angry look when he's doing his good promos. Yeah. This was a like very clearly, actually angry eyes promo. He was like, "Fuck you, MJF. Watch this," and he did a promo perfectly. With like a couple funny jokes, no stumbling whatsoever, and clever wordplay.
I agree. Yeah. Good.
Iron sharpens iron, my friend.
Just going to say that. So next we had a hype promo, a Mercedes Moné hype promo.
I didn't hate it as much as it was edited way down so she didn't sound ridiculous.
Yeah, but also, too, it was setting up the match he's having at Forbidden Door against New Japan Strong Women's Champion Stephanie
Vacour. She's actually a CMLL, but has that New Japan title. She kicks ass. They have had a match before, and it was like awesome.
Did. Yeah, that was part. And so they were kind of showing the history of Mercedes in New Japan.
Stephanie Vacour rules.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna meet her too. That's like
he'll probably sign her. Trying to close every business. Well, no, she's CMLL. They actually make more money than anybody. So like.
Oh, speaking of CMLL.
If we ever get to like 1,500 listeners, I think you and I should take a trip to Arena, Mexico to see CMLL live.
Done.
I'm dying to do that.
Done. Well, we can also go to apparently somewhere in Colorado to watch CMLL matches because guess who's back? Well,
because they worked it out. Did you hear the news?
Well, no.
Triple A and CMLL worked it out. It's no longer, we won't work with you if you have anyone from the other company. So they're will get both.
Good.
Like Penta can be there when Hechicero's there.
Okay, good. Because I was upset when I saw this on my television.
Well, Volador Jr. is an awesome wrestler.
Upset when I saw.
He's like a top
30
wrestler in the world.
I'll tell you why I'm upset. So the Blackpool Combat Club versus Esfinge, Magnus, Rudigo, and Volador Jr. So I wrote, we're resuming all the CMLL bullshit, which was going on in February or March or something.
Did you notice how Danielson had his hair down?
He had
this match.
Now that you mentioned it, I noticed it in the promo after.
I think he's going to do what's going to end up happening is he's going to do a hair versus mask match against Mystico. And this was not me. A couple people pointed out that there's been some breadcrumbs there.
Yeah.
And he's going to lose and cut his hair so he will look like
Ring of Honor,
young.
Ring of Anderson.
And then they'll do the rematch with Nigel and it'll look exactly like it did. And that makes me a happy man.
That's not bad.
That Nigel
match. I like
match,
that a lot. That's a Wembley match.
Amazing. And I'd heard people whispers about that, potentially seeing something he wanted to do. And then on this episode, he's got his hair down for the first time in the whole, since he's been in the company or whatever. I'm like, oh, they're going to do that.
It's a good eyeball.
Yeah.
It's a great eyeball. You can imagine my joy when I saw that Wheeler Yuta has been cleared after 6 months of
great.
I don't give a fuck. I don't want him on my TV. Last time all four of these guys were together was at last year's Double or Nothing, which I believe put Danielson on the table for a while. Didn't he get injured in that match in Anarchy in the Arena?
I think so.
Yeah. And I guess the Claudio character was for one day and one day only because he hasn't even looked at that fucking awesome Terminator character.
It was more than one day because it was 2 shows. That's why we were like, they're doing it.
Right, that's right.
And then it was like,
That's right. For the match notes, I wrote, "Who gives a shit?" I
didn't care. I was happy for Wheeler because I don't hate him, and I was like, "Oh, he's back, and he looks like he's healthy. Cool." And I like Volador Jr., but I didn't care about the match.
Why are they still doing?
I don't know if I watched the finish.
Wheeler won. I only know that because Danielson mentioned it in the promo.
Yeah, I did see that.
Why are they still doing Blackpool Combat Club?
Hopefully, all together right now, so they can properly break them up in a couple weeks.
It's the only acceptable answer.
That's all I've been calling for. I want John Moxley to totally change his character.
I want all 4 of these guys to not look at each other
and I don't
anymore.
want them to be around each other at all.
No, at all. I hate this.
It's the worst faction in wrestling because it's 4 guys that
They are not the better.
At least 3, but 4 for me that I like all of them.
Yeah.
Together, they suck.
They are not better than the sum of their parts.
No, they're much worse. Brian Danielson might be the best wrestler of all time, but he's much worse when he's in there
they
wrestling.
Are better than the sum of their parts. I said that backwards.
Yeah. They know what you meant.
I don't want this.
Moxley actually kind of had a bad match here too.
Shocking.
I mean, his matches are usually technically good. Even when they bore the face off of me, which is always now. But he was botchy here.
Back in my doghouse since he wouldn't put Takeshita over.
Oh, absolutely, me too.
Doghouse, big time.
Yeah, I just said he had a bad match.
What the fuck? Stop. I'm glad you put some kind of silver lining on there.
It's all Danielson stuff. That's the only thing silver lining is there's some interesting Danielson stuff happening here.
Fine.
But you could do that without all 4 of them doing a match that nobody cares about.
This is when you asked me at the top of the show, what did I think of Dynamite? This really tarnished the shit out of the show.
This one didn't piss me off. This just bored me. The Jericho voice was the thing that pissed me off. But now that you've booked it as a cult thing, I think that could be great. I still hate the voice, but but this was just I guess I don't have to pay that close attention right now kind of thing.
That's fair. I was making this sandwich. I got this nice Munster.
Where'd you get the Munster from? I didn't ask.
Oh, just Jewel.
No. Just Jewel. Don't diminish Jewel.
Well, as opposed
Jewel has a fantastic deli.
I didn't go to a cheesery or anything like that.
But Jewel's got a great deli.
They sure do. They got this nice Munster. And I already, what's the name of the mayonnaise I got to get?
Kewpie.
Kewpie.
Kewpie. It's
Kewpie.
like I said, it's Japanese, but you can get it at any store.
Kewpie pie. It's not a pie, it's mayonnaise. Backstage, we had the Young Bucks.
We were to believe there would be punch and pie.
We were told there would be pie and punch. Well, there isn't any. Oh. The Young Bucks are backstage, and we see the patriarchy walk up. The entire patriarchy. Christian says that he was screwed out of the title at Double or Nothing.
I love how he addresses them. Just the way Christian talks, it just makes me smile.
He's very good in scrums as well.
Yeah.
So he's a huge prick in scrums.
Did you see he just did an interview where he was like, "Oh no, I've never gotten the okay to talk about somebody's dead father in a promo. I just go out there and do it." Like, you fucking liar.
Yeah, that would. I'm sure that would have been the first time we saw Swerve get really fired up. If you just walk out there and talk about
absentee father. He's talking about Jack Perry's dad, who died like a year before.
Christian said he was screwed out of the title at Double or Nothing. He's carried the company on his shoulders for a year, and the patriarchy deserves to be on the top.
MJF should have just materialized when he said that.
Christian wants another title shot, and Jackson says he'd give him all a belt. But Tony Khan's stooge stopped it. So Chris Danielson.
He does the "I love you to death," which is like the worst middle managers. They're the only people on earth that say, "I love you to death, love you to death." Like, that means you don't give a shit about the person, but they all love saying it.
Right. Yeah, they'll say it right before they fire you.
Yeah.
So he says, but they still have, but he says that the Bucks still have some strokes, so they'll see what they can do. And then they both agree to keep scratching each other's backs to keep everything kosher for everybody.
Smart for both of them. It's the opposite of Otis and Gable. Like, it's a mutually beneficial relationship, so they stick together.
Which everybody's on board with. There's not like, they're going to turn. Like, no, I think there's heel groups that are talking to each other.
And the Bucks know that Christian's not going to try to, like, infringe on. He's not going to climb to that level because he knows better. Right. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, and they help him then.
Yeah.
Like,
and then the Bucks throw it to the next segment. Matt Jackson asking for a water.
Mm-hmm.
How come he doesn't have a water? Next match was Saraya versus Mariah May, 9 minutes and 6 seconds.
People were shitting all over this. I thought it was a pretty good, like, just rough match.
The only thing
beat
that
the shit out of each other.
Mariah May was perfect in this match.
Yeah, she always is. But I think Saraya's been like steadily improving a ton, and I thought it continued here. Like, I just happened to see on Cage Match, like, people get it bad. I think it's just because they were like, "Oh, it's Saraya, I don't like her now," and has not been paying attention. Like, she had a pretty solid match here.
She had a solid match, but the women in this company, like, she works a little differently than, like, she's not as fast or does like all the shit that all the women are now doing.
And she is closer to that than she was when she first came into AEW. She's improved a ton there.
Yeah.
But, like, her character stuff is better than anybody's except for Tony Storm's. And then, like, I like the new Outcasts with, what's her name? The Phenom? Harley Cameron. Yeah. Like, when they are doing stuff together, they're great chemistry, like playing off each other, talking, but also in the ring.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, why were people shitting on this? This is a fun match.
Makes no sense to me. I agree.
And I love the aftermath. It was super fun.
So speaking of the Outcast, Mariah May comes out in throwback Outcast gear, which I did like.
Sorry, I was not happy with that.
No. Little subtle things like that. The match, Tony Storm's on commentary, and I didn't catch a bunch, but she did at one point go, "Good one, Mariah, smash her tits in."
So since you didn't catch much of it, there was some pretty big story development kind of stuff that happened on. Ooh. Not directly, it wasn't like this is what happened, but a character change has occurred.
Tell me.
Tony Storm is now behaving like she's made the switch to she's my daughter and I need to protect her. As before, it was my understudy and whatever.
Yeah.
But now that she sees that she might be getting taken away, she's like, "Oh no, baby doll, no. Like, you have to get out of that. Let me help you," kind of stuff. And it was totally different, and it made sense.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. Man, that's gonna make the turn hurt way.
Worse. Exactly.
Way worse. That's good. Good eye. But yeah, she has at one point says, "Good one, Mariah. Smash her tits in." They do that. They do say that AEW is where the breast wrestle. Am I right? Those were the only two I grabbed.
Yeah.
Because I was too busy having fun with the match. Mariah May is driving this match, and she looks fucking awesome.
She's great.
Yeah. Everything she does looks
future champ.
Awesome.
Love her.
It was a match. There was, like, again, nothing out of the ordinary. Everybody did what they were supposed to do.
I would say Saraya did more than she had been doing. I think each match she's been doing more and more.
I haven't seen her in a while, so this felt like correct for me.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, how good she is. So
if you're thinking of like Paige, Yeah. But when she was like first Saraya, she hadn't wrestled in a while. She was very timid. Like those matches were bad. She's gotten better and better over the course of time.
What you're saying is what I was thinking of, because when somebody comes back after a long break, you kind of give them like a year.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, warm back up again.
Yeah, like even a pitcher that gets Tommy John.
Yeah, even when
a year later,
Punk came back and he's like, he did an awesome match against Darby Allin. I'm like, I'm gonna give him like 6 or 7 more months. And
there were like 4 months where CM Punk did not stop sweating. He got eventually into ring shape where he didn't sweat just nonstop for every match. But yeah, for the first 4 months, it was just like pouring, like the Key and Peele sketch, just pouring out of his body.
Mariah May kicks out of the Good Night at one point, and that's her, like, she called a bunch of things. The was it the page turner was that stupid thing.
Page turner was like a neck breaker or something. Right?
She just sweeped her. It's how she beat AJ Lee. It's like she just made her fall on her, but took a back bump.
It was so disappointing because I love those two.
The one that where she lifts him up, like, and then DDTs him.
Yeah.
I don't know, but she calls it Good Night now. I'm so grateful I found a website where it's called like AEW Moves or something like that. And this guy puts everyone on the roster on the page, and then it shows GIFs of everything they do. Like, here's their finishers, here's their signatures, here's their submissions. And I'm like, what is that move?
That's cool. I like the only thing that I've seen adjacent is that like there's a YouTube channel. It's like the top 50 moves of Kazuchika Okada and shows everything. But that takes forever.
Yeah.
Like,
this takes 5 seconds.
Yeah, and please do. I would love that.
But anyway, so
the Blue Thunder Bomb is actually a misnomer.
Tell me.
It was invented by Jun Akiyama, and he called it the Blue Thunder Driver.
Yeah.
And when Sami Zayn took it over, he rightly noted that it's not a driver. You drop them on their back, it's a bomb. Yeah. So he changed it to bomb, but it was originally titled the Blue Thunder Driver. Well, I learned that today.
Sami Zayn's correct.
Yeah, he is.
He did it the right way.
He fixed it.
Yeah. Thank you, Samuel Zayn. So she kicks out of the Good Night, and then Mariah May gets put in the Scorpion Crosslock.
That was pretty cool looking.
That's an old like WWE.
I don't really. It's been a long time, so I don't.
She did it a ton in NXT, and like she couldn't really do it. That's much.
A long. Paige NXT is like a long time ago. That's like Tyler Black kind of shit.
AJ Lee was champ.
Yeah.
Like that was when did AJ Lee retire? 32, 31, 31?
Something like that.
Something like that. Her last match.
She's still running her. She was like running a wrestling school or something.
AJ Lee?
Yeah.
I don't know. Her book is awesome.
Yeah.
Where she's talking about like her childhood and like.
Also very attractive.
Oh, that's a given. We don't say the sun is hot because we know the sun is hot. We say the sun is this far away. We don't have to say some things, but she. And right before Mariah May, because she ultimately taps out, she looks at Toni Storm like they have a visual.
And like at this point, Tony was going, "Oh, sweetheart, you can't stay in this very long. You're not going to last very long in this hold." Doing very motherly, like, please
catch that. Now I want to. Okay, I like shit like that. I got to go back and really put this under a microscope. Saraya wins with the Scorpion Crosslock. Afterwards, Toni Storm runs in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Now this
motherly.
makes sense. Yeah, she's like hovering over Mariah May, and Saraya and Harley Cameron both stomp the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Mina Shirakawa's music hits, and she runs out.
I love her.
And she's the one, in case you haven't been watching in a minute, about a month or two ago.
Yeah, started coming out and partying with her new like kind of girlfriend, maybe.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is. Mariah May, kind of pulling Mariah away from Tony, which is why Tony's now kind of.
They start bumping. They start bumping chests.
They're doing a hold you to my bosom off.
Yeah,
it was I want to hold you to my bosom, my daughter.
That, they were chest bumping.
Yeah,
like Frank Drebin and the other ump in the Naked Gun.
And
he was safe.
What's her face?
You idiot! He was out when he ran out of the baseline.
She actually started going like.
Oh, then they do the. Mariah May's got each one on the bosom, like hugging them.
I love you both.
This is where I noticed the audio started getting really shitty. So
I had no problem, but I was watching the British one. So
I'm hoping it's on my device that I watched it on. I'm willing to bet it was not because it's fucking brand new. I think it was just a shit feed because they're bad at their
Use the VPN. Use my thing. Watch it on.
No, but this is how. I think it's important to watch.
It's
most
the
of us watch.
Same reason I watch Raw all the way through with commercials and shit.
But this is also helpful if because remember they were having the audio issues at Daly's place.
Yeah,
and I think you did not have an issue. but like
the
rest of the planet did, and it was even like a huge issue on social media.
Yeah, I noticed the next day because I watched it live, and then I went back to do the notes. And when I did the notes, I watched the TBS version, and it was like, shit. Where's all the sound?
It's terrible. Next, we had more of the learning tree backstage. They
They're all through this show,
which I'm fine with. I wish it wasn't the FTW.
While I was watching it, I was so irritated by the voice that like I couldn't get past that. Yeah. But like now I'm okay. It's a kind of a cool through story. I'm curious
what they're gonna do with it. Just because
if it's something as clever as what you came up with, cool. Yeah. If it's just him trying a thing, I'm gonna be pissed off.
Yeah. Jericho says, "Hey guys, I've been thinking. I have some advice for you. As a guy who's been to a lot of parties, it's always more fun when they're not private. You should open your party up to everybody. Like I've opened up the Jericho Vortex. Everyone's invited. Maybe you should change your name to Public Party, guys. Ha ha ha. Public Party made me laugh.
It would have been a great line if he delivered it like a normal human being. Yeah. If he was like, maybe we should change our Public Party.
Public
like that would be funny. Like,
made me laugh. Isaiah Cassidy goes, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. I got a lot of love and respect. You're an OG in the game, but y'all don't really fit our dynamic, if you know what I mean, respectfully. And then Brian Keith goes, disrespect. Big Bill goes, just remember, it's usually the people that need the advice the most that don't even realize that they need the help.
That was the line that made me think, oh, he's like a Mormon going door to door trying to sell you the Bible.
It's also very... it's the most ironic statement ever. Like he's talking about Chris Jericho.
Yes.
But and they're lack
of the whole thing is,
Yeah. So Jericho says, that's right, Redwood, and I'm going to help you guys get something.
He's never called him Bill. Not one time.
You mentioned that, it pops me every time he says Redwood. That's right, Redwood, and I'm going to help you guys get something you desperately need, which is more appearances on Dynamite. That's why next week we're inviting you to TV time with the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho. Think about it. Hope to see you then.
Did they get another member? Oh, by the way, Brian Keith is not Brian Keith anymore either. He's Bad Apple. But do you think they had somebody?
Oh, because of a tree.
Because of the last time they did it, they added somebody.
I don't know. Wow, I'm stupid. Redwood, Bad Apple, tree.
It's all tree based. Yeah.
Ugh.
The Redwood one took me a couple of weeks to realize that's what he was doing.
I didn't even realize. I thought Redwood because he's like a big motherfucker.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's it's a play on him, but like. I thought the same when he first started doing it. I thought he was just giving him like a stupid nickname for a big guy.
Yeah.
But then when he started doing the tree imagery, like in his Tron, and then especially when in the ring with the Blues Clues tree, I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Okay, that makes sense. Did they pick up another member as soon as next week? They just got one last week.
Yeah, no, I'm asking. I'm not telling.
They need Brian Bad Apple and Redwood to start just crushing motherfuckers.
That'd be great.
They do though.
Like, don't ever have Jericho wrestle at all. Just do the character and then have them win like the tag titles.
Yeah.
Eventually, the Buck should hold them for a long time, but like have them win like the tag titles.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Like if he builds this properly, I would not hate to see this in a world title program.
Yeah. Like, the problem is I'd rather see Big Bill in the title match than.
Well, we all would like to see a guy that's more fun to watch wrestle. But
should be like Mark Briscoe should be a main event type guy because he can do everything.
But he's got a good character too.
Yeah,
like we all like him already.
You know what I'm noticing about Big Bill?
What's that?
Every character he's had his whole career he's done great with.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think he's just a star.
And then he tried to step out and beat up the little person, and that got him fired.
Yeah. Well, that and I think he had a pretty serious substance abuse problem at that time. I think that was
after the fact.
Oh, it was?
If I remember,
the drinking habit. I thought he's talked about it was happening while he was
very well maybe, but I know like that's when they separated him from Enzo, and they did the thing with the little person in the ring. He off script beat up the little person, and that pissed Vince off.
I totally forgot about that.
Real hard, yeah. So I'm not sure regardless of when it started, Homeboy has come back 50-fold as a better.
Yeah, it's like the biggest glow up in the history of wrestling.
He's fucking great.
I didn't like.
He's got acting chops.
I liked Enzo and Big Cass because of the promos. Yeah. Like those were super fun. I used to do them at White Sox games and stuff. It'd be loud. But I never thought of him as like wrestler. Like, Enzo's not a wrestler at all. But like I never even thought of Big Bill really as a wrestler. He was just a good promo guy.
Yeah.
He's like an incredible wrestler now, and he's kept all the promo stuff, and he's quick witted, and he's like good looking, and like. Has got himself into absolutely chiseled physique.
Yeah.
He should be on a main event, like, trajectory.
Yeah. When you're in a company that's bloated with guys that should be in the main event, some people don't get in the main event.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I would have been happy with a Big Bill Takeshita match at the last pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we said 9 different matches we would have preferred. Backstage, we have Danielson. Brian Danielson says, what a blessing this is to see Wheeler Yuta come back and come out on top. And I wrote, apparently Wheeler Yuta got the win in the match because I was so mad. Made this nice sandwich, got this nice muncher. Anyway, says, I couldn't be prouder. But as for myself, it was about 8 months ago. It was going to be my last year as a full-time wrestler. Most epic year of my career, but it hasn't been what I wanted. Lost the TNT title match against Christian. Lost in the semis of the Continental Classic. Lost to Okada in the Tokyo Dome. In every big match, I lose and I lose and I lose. The straw that broke the camel's back was losing in Anarchy in the Arena. Talking to Wheeler Yuta, I saw how fired up he was to come back. I realized my last year as a full-time wrestler, it ain't over yet. When Tony Khan announced that the winner of the Owen Hart tournament gets a world title match at All In Wembley Stadium, I got fired up one more time. Might be my last shot.
I got fired up right there, by the way.
Might be my last shot, but it'll be my best shot of my entire career, and I'm going out on top.
If that plays out, this promo was incredible. He hasn't done one of these like somber, serious ones since the one after the pay-per-view, like 3 pay-per-views ago, when he was like sitting on the floor and kind of crying. Like, I love when he does these,
right?
Like introspective things. He's such a good actor when he's doing this kind of stuff. And this kind of made me think he's going to have a world title match.
Dude, I hope so.
It'd be fucking awesome. You know what they could do? They could have him win the world title and then do a thing where, like, I'm holding this,
the Ric Flair
and then
thing.
When I lose, I'm retiring.
The Ric Flair
like, that's
thing.
it. Yeah. That would be incredible.
Every match. Do you remember when Ric Flair did that?
Like how much stakes, like crazy stakes. It's a world title, or your favorite wrestler is going to quit wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, now he said he's never really going to quit wrestling, but like still, I would believe it in the moment when if they did that story, which I love.
And then he's the one that takes the world title off of Damian Priest right after he retires.
At least it'll be Drew. Come Glasgow.
Oh God, can you fucking imagine?
Damian Priest dog.
If he retires and then goes and gets put in some, because knowing him, he'd be like, I got to help out the young guys.
Yeah. I'm gonna go help those guys. I haven't helped those like Braun Breaker out yet.
Well, no, please not Braun. He'll die.
I do think that he's gonna end up like booking for.
He'll be with AEW for
like a bigger than an EVP kind of thing, like a president, like maybe in charge of creative.
I want you to be right, and I think that's a pretty fucking
I'm not pulling it out of my ass. There's like been
he's not quiet
whispers.
I mean, he already has a pretty authoritative role in the company.
And Tony Khan is like every chance he gets is like, he's the best. I want him to do the job. Like
Tony Khan wants Danielson to tuck him in at night.
He wants the spoon with him.
Read me a story, Dan. Dragon, read me a story.
Dragon, I can't sleep, Dragon. I'd be afraid to spoon with the dragon. He'd put me in a chicken wing or something.
Can you imagine you're sleeping there, you're super sound asleep, and you're about to doze off, and you just hear, "You're gonna get your fucking."
You wake up in the middle of the night, and he's just staring at you doing Hindu squats.
He's in his gear. He's in his gear.
It's like Pac. He just wears his gear 24 hours a day.
But he's got Birkenstocks on because he's pretty hippie-ish. That'd be dope. I don't trust him to see. Again, this is why he's so good and why I get so. So I've been mad.
He sells us on stuff that's not going to him.
Well, I get mad at him because he's on TV all the time and he doesn't put himself in top positions. Now he has put himself in a potential top position.
I am going to try to win the world title, is what he just told us.
Yes,
he's never said anything like that before.
But he also is he's not. He has the I'm not bigger than the business mentality. So I don't know if he's bullshitting us and he's just gonna put somebody over real big with this.
I think if he does, if they do it, it's gonna be like a retirement thing or something after.
Because I loved it. It can go either way.
I loved everything about this promo.
I want it to be both, but I don't. You know what I mean?
Plus, he had his hair down, and I was already in my mind thinking about that thing that I had heard that people were like talking about a little bit. Like, just like. You know what's funny?
Yeah.
Like if you feel my head,
it
feels like I have a full head of hair, full head of buzzed hair. Don't.
Yeah.
It just I have invisible hair apparently.
Yeah. was just blonde.
Yeah.
I dyed my hair to look like that when I was in high school, like patches of blonde with dark hair.
It's not blonde. It's just not enough hair to be visible.
I'm helping you out here. I'm helping you out.
Were you old enough? Do you remember when your brother tried to dye his hair blonde with the wrong kind of stuff and it turned orange?
Is that when he did the cheetah thing, the reverse cheetah thing?
One of the greatest things that's ever happened.
What did he use?
Droba still got a picture. He didn't bleach it. He used just like a straight like women's hair. We were 16 or 15 or something.
Yeah.
Like off the shelf like Pantene blonde dye. He just mixed it into his regular hair and it just turned orange.
Oh.
Like not natural orange.
Yeah, like basketball
like a pumpkin.
Orange?
It was
funny.
Great.
I don't remember that. I remember when he bleached his hair and then he did like a reverse frost.
Yeah.
And he did the tips black.
The tips, yeah.
We used to do sun-in when I was younger.
You know who else did the tips black? The reverse frost?
What was that?
Nigel McGuinness when he wrestled Ryan Danielson. If you go back and watch this awesome match, he's got the spikes with the black tips.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that.
If I could, I would do all kinds of hairstyles.
I just see.
If we really make it, I'm going to get the plugs
if
too.
You hear
like
plugs,
they're super.
Get the follicle.
They're really. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I say plugs, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The
Anthony Cumia thing.
The one that looks good and stays forever.
I think you
that
look good. I think you look good. I hope you stay
Bradley
forever.
Cooper got like 15 years ago. Ben Affleck got like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh, so you want to suck on roasts also?
No, I just want to have a nice hairline.
Well, if you get a nice hairline, you got to suck on a roast if you get them done. He shit the bed.
Yeah,
anyway, what did not shit the bed is the
main events of the evening.
It was the AEW World Championship match between Swerve Strickland and Roderick Strong. Went 14 minutes and 9 seconds.
You know how I've been talking about Swerve's been like ever since he listened to the show and took our advice and stopped using the stomp as the finish. He also started doing the stomp in many, many different like variations.
One of my only notes there.
My favorite one he's done, I think, was this one. It was like a whole thing, but it was my favorite one. I think
it looked impossible how he did it. And
yeah,
like I rewound it. And
so
I go,
smooth, so fast, and he hit it. Yeah.
So the spot Sully's talking about is Roderick Strong goes for I believe it's the fireman's carry into the gutbuster one. Or do you have a different?
Oh,
one?
no.
You got a different one.
I have a note about that too.
Oh.
The one I'm talking about is where Roddy was on the ring apron and tried to sweep Swerve's legs, but he jumped and then swept Roddy's legs and then jumped over the ring and did the stomp over the ropes.
I see.
The Swerve stomp on the gutbuster was, I got it that close because on our text thread I was like, I bet tonight we see Swerve counter and end of heartache into a stomp. I don't know how you can do it, but I bet he can. And that was very like that. The gutbuster thing into that was very close to what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
so that was awesome too.
It was a fireman's carry, and he usually drops back and drops it and his opponent into it. He being Roderick Strong, he drops his opponent from a fireman's carry and then drops back onto his back, tucks his knees into a gutbuster. But as he threw Swerve over his head to bring him down. Swerve
alters the trajectory of his body. He's a great athlete.
And then it turns into a Swerve stomp, and it looked fucking amazing.
Yeah,
it looked so good.
And like, I'm not even sure if it was the best one in the match. Like, it might have been. It was both awesome.
Yeah.
But
I didn't have any notes for this match because I had so much fun watching it.
This is where I like had the idea that like I just want Kyle O'Reilly and this guy back together and let Adam Cole be with them and nobody else, and just they complement each other so well.
Yeah.
Roddy Strong is so fast in that ring. He's so sudden with everything he does.
Yeah.
And like he's so believable because he'll do a devastating offensive maneuver and then he doesn't like waste a breath. He's immediately on with the next thing, trying to work on the next thing, hit you with the next thing.
Yeah. Not
just like when he's doing the Sonic the Hedgehog thing where he hits you a bunch of different ways. He kind of wrestles his whole matches like that.
Yeah.
Like just a flurry, but it's one guy. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And Swerve is a great counter guy, and like that's what led to a bunch of these. It's a great match. I don't know why it was for the title, but I would have preferred it have been an eliminator. Just because I need to have the 1% at least chance, like, and I knew that they weren't going to put the title on Roddy right here, so there was no like stakes really for me. But the match itself was fantastic.
Yeah, match was really fun, and even
Swerve hasn't had a bad one about a month now.
No, he's very good. He doesn't. Again, this company.
I mean, bad for Swerve.
Sure, I was about to say this company doesn't have bad matches.
Yeah.
Swerve apparently just decided he's going to stop having bad matches as well.
You know who I watched have a good match on, I don't know, like one match on Rampage last week or something I watched. Fucking Saddam Singh was good.
Oh.
He like did this thing where he took the guy, he was Pretty Peter Avalon. And he grabbed his head like a basketball. He was bouncing on the mat like a guy in a basketball. And then he like picked him up by his head. He can move. He was doing like threw him into the corner and then did a full like running and then smash.
Yeah.
He's bigger than Khali. He's taller than Khali.
Yeah.
And like he's doing stuff. He's a real guy.
Is he the best giant in wrestling history?
Yes. Yeah.
He has to be, right?
He is by a lot. Like by a lot.
Yeah.
Because nobody else can move. And this guy was a basketball player that can run, like jump and do stuff. And he's not hurt every 2 seconds. And he's amazing. When they signed him, I'm like, oh, freak show guy. Like, no. They signed him to train him to wrestle and how he can wrestle. It's awesome.
I'd be curious if he gets good enough to championship contend.
There's there's a ceiling on a 7'5" guy or whatever.
So far.
Yeah, that's true. I've never seen anybody do what he's done already. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like
cool.
Yeah.
It's like when Fat Guy started doing moonsaults. You're like, that was never on the table.
Yeah.
Typhoon never did this.
NBA when 6'10" guys started hitting threes nonstop 10 years ago. Now everybody does. So who knows? Maybe he'll change the world.
No, I'm just thinking of the Eric Clapton song.
If I could change the world. That song?
I'd be the sunrise in your universe.
I would pay more attention to my little son.
All right, abort. Abort.
I mean, I'm a dad.
Yeah. Well, still.
Pay more attention, fuckhead.
Yeah, still. He wrote Layla. That was dynamite.
Yeah. I think what we said at the start of the show bore out in our review of it. There was some, it was entertaining. Throughout, I was never outside of the BCC match. It was the thing I was bored for, and I just started doing something else.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the show, I was at least interested. I hated the Jericho thing because of the voice, but had I had that revelation that I think you are correct about, I would have enjoyed it. So that wouldn't have even been really a negative. And then I love the main event, except the stip was wrong. It shouldn't have been a title match. Yeah. I would have been happy with that as a main event, just as a non-title, like Eliminator or whatever. It was a great match, though.
Yeah.
And Swerve continues to look like a very, very top guy, which people were very worried about when Will Ospreay was on the come up. And now we got Ospreay and MJF, and Swerve still looked like a top guy, both in his promo and in the match.
I'm curious to see how Swerve wins at All In, because Ospreay's not winning the world title at all.
Those guys,
it would be a massive mistake to put him on the.
Did you ever see them do anything together?
No.
You never saw the dance thing?
What?
It's goddamn amazing.
I don't know what that is.
It's a super indie thing from 15 years ago or something. It was Shane Strickland, both super skinny. Shane Strickland versus Will Ospreay, and they're wrestling, doing the kind of the Ricochet Ospreay stuff where it's people who's not wrestling. It's just a bunch of. They did that for a little bit, and then kind of to take the piss out of the people that say that's not wrestling. I forget what the song was. It's a real classic dance tune. Started playing, and both guys started going and then they just did a whole choreographed 20-minute dance.
Oh, that's
funny. They did the kid and play foot kick thing, spinning each other around. And,
now I want to watch it.
It's I'll send it to you. It's a fairly famous indie thing, so it won't be tough for me to find.
Right.
But they have great chemistry. They are good friends, which means that match is gonna fucking rule.
I'm just hoping Ospreay does not win.
I don't think he's gonna.
I hope he doesn't.
I wouldn't. Wouldn't make any damn sense.
It would be let him do so much more before that.
Yeah. By the way, I did have one no. I'm now kind of thinking that I want Ospreay to be stuck in the Don Callis family for a long time.
Oh yeah, that's a great. Yeah, that's a great idea.
At first, I was like, "Oh, gotta get him out." Well, now I'm no, he kind of should be stuck there.
No,
I like that as a story thing.
He's Act 1 of a Disney princess.
Yeah, yeah.
Some amazing shit's waiting for him, but we have to have the protagonist in peril.
I don't think the AEW would want to take the title off Swerve like that. I don't think Will Ospreay would want to take the title off his friend like that.
I hope you're right. I really do.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I know that's the case. I'm parsing out.
Yeah.
Is this likely to happen or not? And I don't think it is.
Right.
I think I'm going to bite on him up 10 near falls.
Yeah. That is one of the matches where I genuinely don't know how. Like, I'm pretty sure they're going to keep it on Swerve, but like it's not out of the realm of possibility that they're like, yeah, well, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most over babyface.
So that match is going to be
great.
Anxiety stricken because you don't
in the
know
best way though, like
in the best way,
like the Danielson Ospreay match, because I didn't know who was winning that one either.
Yeah,
like
you catch yourself in the middle. You're like, I kind of want this guy to win. And like, why am I thinking that? Like, it's those are the best kinds of matches.
Yeah. MJF had a bunch of those, by the way, in his title run.
Like Survivor Series. Was it 96? Shawn Michaels and Psycho Sid. Same thing. Yeah, same thing. Oh, I was saying that as kind of a joke.
Oh, you love that era so much that I thought you might be like,
no, that's when everybody was.
And plus, you were like 12, so
a little boy. Everybody.
You told me you like Ahmed Johnson was great.
He was
in your eyes back then. Like Psycho Sid would definitely have been great in your eyes too.
Madison Square Garden also said so. They were loving Psycho Sid because they were tired of Shawn Michaels and Jose Lothario.
Super athletic, charismatic guy. I want the big stupid guy that can't do any wrestling moves.
That is an accurate recounting of what happened at that Survivor Series. That's right.
Like softball, way too much.
Should have brought a bat to the ring. I don't know.
Yeah, gimmick it up at least.
Appease him a
little bit. Don't just
bit.
miss dates so you could play your give him the stupid beer league.
Give him the shit under his eyes.
So yeah, if you guys haven't already, go check out the WWE edition of the Blue Thunder Pod, dropping right at the same time as this one, and keep your eyes peeled for hopefully a full-length episode for the first time on YouTube video of this and perhaps the WWE one as well. We'll see. Thanks for joining us. See you next week, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.